Have you ever tracked an order you couldn't see but knew was coming? That's how wealth works. The universe delivers just like Amazon. Once you click believe, it's already shipped. Imagine for a moment that life works like your favorite online store. You open the app, you know exactly what you want, you press order now, and you trust the package will arrive. You don't run to the delivery van. You don't question the warehouse. You simply wait. Calm. Certain. Expectant. That, my friend, is how manifestation truly works. Money, opportunity, ideas, love. They all live in a vast invisible storehouse. Every desire you've ever whispered is sitting in a cart somewhere, waiting for confirmation. The universe never asks if it should deliver. It only asks when you'll believe it's already yours. Think of your thoughts as clicks. Every yes I can is an order placed. Every I don't think so is a cancellation request. Energy is your customer service line, and it always picks up. When you wake up grateful, you are logging in. When you speak with conviction, you're adding items to your spiritual cart. When you rest in faith, you're waiting for delivery with a smile. This is the unseen rhythm of wealth. Money has never been far from you. It has only been waiting for your clarity. Because the universe is allergic to confusion. It reads your vibration faster than a barcode. You say, I need money, and the universe hears the vibration of need and gives you more need. You say, I already live in abundance, and it matches you with proof. So what happens when you decide today to speak to your money like you would speak to your favorite order? App. Simple, confident, direct. You don't write essays to Amazon. You click one button. You don't explain why you deserve it. You simply select it. You don't chase the driver down the street. You just trust delivery. That's the kind of peace your manifestations crave. We were taught to beg the divine when we were meant to collaborate with it. We were taught to fear asking for too much when infinity has no shortage. The stars do not ration their light. The ocean does not apologize for its waves. Why then should you shrink when speaking abundance into form? Every word you say builds a bridge between affirm and reality. Every time you affirm your worth, you ship a signal to the warehouse of creation. And every time you doubt, you pause the shipment. So today we release doubt like old packaging. We send it back to sender. We choose new tracking numbers stamped with faith. Picture yourself sitting in calm certainty. Your order for financial peace is confirmed. Your receipt reads paid in full by belief. Your delivery status in transit with grace. Feel that. That quiet, knowing that what you desire is already forming somewhere in the invisible corridors of energy. Someone is about to mention your name in a conversation that opens a door. A forgotten talent in you is waking up to bring wealth in unexpected ways. Your energy is reorganizing itself into readiness. This is not fantasy, this is frequency. Everything that exists began as thought clothed in faith. Money is not paper, it's a rhythm. You are not chasing it, you are tuning to it. And once you hum the same note, it can't help but find you. So you breathe. You let go of timelines. You let go of how. You let go of all the tracking anxiety that says, what if it's lost? The universe has never lost a package. It only waits for you to stop changing addresses. Think of every I am. You speak as your new shipping label. I am worthy. I am capable. I am ready. Those are your coordinates in the map of abundance. You are not begging money to come. You are reminding it where you live. And money, being energy, always responds to recognition. It goes where it's loved, it stays where it's respected, and it multiplies where it's celebrated. So start celebrating now. Celebrate before arrival. Laugh as though the delivery truck just turned onto your street. Feel that small flutter in your chest that says, "It's here." That feeling is the magnetic signal. That joy is the confirmation email of the universe. You've never ordered anything faster than with pure belief. The moment you know, the moment you relax into certainty, the moment you breathe gratitude before seeing, the package is already marked out for delivery. And maybe it doesn't show up as cash first. Maybe it's an idea that lights you up, a message that inspires you, a new connection, a quiet opportunity that turns golden in your hands. That's the universe in action. Same energy, different form, always on time. There is a reason peace is powerful. Peace keeps your signal clear. Fear scrambles the line. But gratitude is the Wi-Fi of God. You could be in the darkest night and still have full bars when you whisper thank you. Say it quietly in your mind right now. Thank you for what is already mine. Thank you for the wealth flowing unseen. Thank you for being the kind of universe that always delivers. The more you thank, the more confirmations arrive. The more you notice, the more orders ship. Because the universe does not reward struggle. It responds to alignment. You are the customer and the creator, the buyer and the builder. You are the one who speaks the world into being. Money is not outside of you. It's your echo in form. When you stop chasing and start conversing, the entire rhythm changes. You are not running toward wealth. You are standing in the center of a store that never closes. And every shelf is labeled "Take what you believe is yours." The moment you begin to trust this process, everything around you starts to move differently. Opportunities appear like pop-up notifications from the universe. New ideas slide into your awareness like new product recommendations. Perfectly tailored, perfectly timed. The only difference between you and the one who already lives in wealth is the level of certainty they order with. When you order from Amazon, you don't check your mailbox every 5 minutes. You don't worry if the driver knows your house. You don't ask your neighbor if their order came yet. You know yours will arrive because the system is proven. You've used it before, and it's never failed you. Manifestation is the same. You've manifested before, even when you didn't know you were doing it. That one moment when you said, "I just know it's going to work out." And it did. That was manifestation. That peaceful expectancy is the delivery zone of miracles. Every manifestation is proof of your power, and your power never left you. It simply waits for you to use it consciously. The truth is, you are manifesting all the time. The only question is, what are you placing orders for? Each time you repeat a thought, you click buy again. Each time you tell yourself a story, you add more to your cart. And your words, oh your words. They are divine confirmations. They are spiritual barcodes that never expire. This is why awareness matters more than effort. You don't have to push energy into motion. You only have to aim it correctly. You don't have to scream your desires. The universe isn't deaf. It is listening to your feeling tone, not your volume. It hears what your heart believes, even more clearly than what your mouth says. So ask yourself, what vibration am I placing orders from? Is it lack or love? Fear or faith? Am I saying, I hope it works? Or am I saying, it's already mine? Because the universe, in all its vastness, has one beautiful rule. It mirrors certainty. It does not reward begging, it reflects belief. If you whisper, I am rich, while fearing lack, the echo returns uncertain. But when you declare, I am abundant, and your body relaxes in agreement, the entire field rearranges itself to deliver. Your feelings are your signature. Your emotions stamp the envelope of creation. That's why it's called vibration. You're literally sending waves into the world, and the waves return, carrying the shape of your belief. Money doesn't respond to effort, it responds to energy. People think hustling creates wealth, but it's alignment that attracts opportunity. Money is like light. It bends toward open space. And peace is the widest space you can offer. Peace tells the universe, I trust you. Gratitude whispers, I already have it. Confidence says, deliver to me now. So today, we clear the noise. We empty the cart of fear. We delete every order of limitation. Weaver placed by accident. No more thoughts of I can't afford it. No more inner stories that say I'm behind. Those were false receipts. They were never yours to begin with. Instead, we fill our cart with clarity. We select thoughts that feel expansive. We add intentions that smell like freedom. We confirm with words that taste like joy. Because joy is your real currency. Joy buys faster than fear. Joy tells the universe you are ready for more. Close your eyes for a moment and feel it. The same way you feel excitement when you know a package is on the way. You don't see it yet, but you can sense it. That's anticipation, and in spiritual language, anticipation is faith with a heartbeat. Let that heartbeat echo through you now. Your order is already being packed. Every piece of abundance you requested is being wrapped in divine timing. The energy of wealth is loading onto the truck of synchronicity. And somewhere in your unseen reality, a door just opened in your favor. That door might look like an idea. It might sound like a phone call. It might come disguised as a problem that forces you to grow. But in the end, it always leads to more. Because the universe doesn't do refunds, only upgrades. If something didn't arrive, it's because a better version was sent. If something broke, it's because the old vibration couldn't hold the new blessing. There is never denial, only divine redirection. When you start to understand this, you stop panicking about timing. You stop begging the clock for mercy. You realize the universe is more precise than any delivery service. And while you rest, while you breathe, while you let gratitude hum softly inside you, creation is moving mountains on your behalf. Money loves a calm heart. Abundance follows a clear mind. Opportunities rush toward a peaceful energy. So when you start feeling impatient, don't say, where is it? Say it's already on the way. That one shift turns anxiety into magnetism. Because the universe reads emotions like a GPS. If you stay in peace, it knows exactly where to find you. You are the address of your blessings. And peace is your open door. When you are peaceful, nothing can miss you. When you are aligned, even delays become blessings in disguise. So breathe easy. The package is coming. The wealth is on its way. The moment you let go, the magic begins to move. You don't need to prove your worth to the universe. You already are its proof. You don't need to convince it to deliver. You are the delivery itself, unfolding in real time. Every heartbeat is an arrival. Every exhale is a delivery. Every smile is confirmation that the system is working. You are the order and the ordered. You are the buyer and the supply. You are both the question and the answer. This is the secret most never understand. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. You don't order what you wish. You receive what you believe. So believe in yourself as the most trusted customer in creation. The universe recognizes your vibration. It knows your name. It knows your frequency. It knows your address and energy. You have been seen. You have been heard. Your order is already confirmed. There is a moment when waiting turns into knowing. You stop searching. You stop doubting. You simply breathe and feel the certainty humming through your chest. It's quiet but undeniable. The sense that what you asked for is no longer somewhere out there. It is here. It is close. It is inevitable. That is the vibration of receiving. It isn't forced. It isn't loud. It's that soft inner smile that says, "Of course it's coming. Of course I deserve this." You start to move differently when you know your order is on the way. You spend differently, think differently, speak differently. You begin to walk through your days like someone whose name is already on the package. You stop clutching pennies in fear and start opening your palms to the flow. Because the truth is, the universe cannot deliver to a closed hand. It can only pour into open space. And when you release control, when you breathe instead of grip, the blessings rush in like air through an open window. Gratitude is the fastest way to keep that window open. Not forced gratitude, not pretending everything is fine, but genuine, grounded thankfulness that whispers, "I am already blessed." Even before more arrives, you look around and see proof of abundance. A roof overhead, a meal on the table, light streaming through your window. Each one is the universe tapping you on the shoulder saying, "See, I've never left you empty." When you notice, you multiply. Whatever you appreciate expands. So when you thank the small coins, the bills begin to arrive. When you bless the little income, the larger opportunities find you. You are training reality to recognize you as a grateful receiver. Gratitude is your confirmation email. Every thank you tells the universe, "Yes, I got it. I'm ready for more." Every "I appreciate this" presses the reorder button on blessings. And as you live in that steady current of appreciation, something shifts inside you. You stop thinking of money as something separate, something to chase. You begin to feel money as part of your breath. You realize that every inhale is receiving, every exhale is releasing, and both are equally divine. Abundance is not a destination. It's an atmosphere. You don't arrive at it. You tune into it. Like turning the dial on a radio, you choose the frequency that plays prosperity. That frequency sounds like ease. It feels like confidence. It moves like joy. And joy is contagious. It draws opportunities like bees to nectar. You notice how people begin to respond to you differently. Conversations open new doors. Ideas click into place. Synchronicities line up one after another, as if the universe has become your personal assistant. Because it has. You've given it clear instructions, and now it's moving heaven and earth to deliver. There's no need to check on it every hour. Your only task is to keep your energy clear, your faith steady, your heart grateful. When fear tries to whisper, "What if it doesn't come?" you answer gently, "It already has." When doubt asks, "What if I'm not ready?" you smile, "I was born ready." When impatience knocks, you say, Delivery in progress. Each time you affirm peace, you strengthen the rote. Each time you return to gratitude, you speed the delivery. The more you embody abundance, the faster it mirrors back. You begin to notice abundance in everything. The overflowing trees, the endless sky, the laughter of strangers, the rhythm of your own breath. And as you recognize it around you, you realize it's not coming to you. It's coming through you. You are not waiting for wealth. Wealth is waiting for you to open the door. So you open it with joy, with love, with certainty. You don't need to know when or how. Those details belong to the universe. Your job is the what and the why. The universe handles the when and the how. So you rest in trust. You wake up each morning like a child on their birthday, not wondering if the gifts will come, but what shape they'll take this time. That is the energy that makes miracles common. Trust is not passive. Trust is an action. It's the decision to stay open, even when you can't yet see results. It's the choice to keep thanking life for invisible blessings still unfolding. It's knowing that the universe always tracks your vibration, not your calendar. So while the world rushes, you slow down. You become the calm center in the storm. You sip your coffee with peace. You walk with intention. You pay your bills with a quiet smile that says, "There's more where that came from." Because there always is. Abundance is infinite, and infinity never subtracts. Every dollar you spend returns tenfold when it's released with gratitude. Every act of generosity plants new seeds in the field of plenty. You start to see your finances not as numbers but as relationships. Money loves attention, respect, and flow. It loves being appreciated, circulated, and multiplied through joy. It wants to move, not stagnate. So you let it dance through your life. In, out, around, never clinging. Always trusting the rhythm. Like waves returning to the shore, what goes out will always come back larger. And in that trust, you find freedom. Freedom to dream bigger. Freedom to live lighter. Freedom to ask for more without guilt. Because asking is not greed, it's participation. It's how you collaborate with the infinite. You are not taking from others when you prosper. You are proving what's possible. You are showing the world how abundance behaves when it's guided by love. When you thrive, you bless. When you rise, you lift. When you receive, you create room for others to receive too. So never shrink your desires to make others comfortable. Never apologize for wanting beauty, ease, or overflow. You were born from abundance. You are meant to mirror it. The ocean doesn't shrink to make room for the tide. It expands. And in its expansion, everything else flows harmoniously. You are that ocean. You are that tide. And every wave of gratitude, you send ripples back with blessings. So when you think of your manifestation, don't think small. Don't whisper, declare. Don't wish, expect. And as you expect, relax. The greatest proof of belief is peace. Let peace become your wealth signature. Let gratitude become your payment method. Let joy become your delivery notification. Every word you speak is still resonating in the halls of creation. Every thank you is still echoing through eternity. And every moment you remember this truth. The distance between you and your desire disappears a little more. Until one day, you look around and realize it's all here. And then something beautiful happens. One day you stop talking about abundance, and you start talking from it. You stop saying, "I want," and begin saying, "I am." You stop waiting for money to change your life, and you start living as if it already has. This is the moment your manifestation becomes identity. You are no longer placing orders. You are the store. You are no longer hoping for delivery. You are the delivery in motion. You are the warehouse of wealth, the source of supply, the living proof that the divine does not withhold. Every action you take becomes a declaration of abundance. The way you speak to yourself, the way you carry your body, the way you show up in rooms, all of it radiates wealth consciousness. You begin to notice that it isn't money that makes people magnetic. It's certainty. Certainty shines. Certainty tells like home. Certainty tells the world, I am enough. And because I am enough, I attract more than enough. And from that energy, things start to move fast. Emails come through. Ideas flow effortlessly. People want to work with you, to share with you, to connect with you. You're not chasing, you're chosen. You've become the gravitational field of prosperity. The world feels softer around you because you've stopped fighting it. You've learned the language of ease. You've realized that manifestation isn't about control. It's about surrender. You don't command the tide, you ride it. You don't force the flower to bloom. You simply make sure it has sunlight. And the sunlight of your wealth is faith. Faith that life is on your side. Faith that every no was simply a redirection to a better yes. Faith that you have never missed what was truly meant for you. Because the truth is, your abundance can't get lost. It's coded in your soul. It's written in your divine DNA. It's part of your assignment to bring beauty, to bring light, to bring ease to the world. The world needs wealthy hearts. Not because money defines you, but because money magnifies you. When love meets wealth, miracles multiply. When peace meets power, lives change. So when you manifest wealth, you are not being selfish. You are being responsible. You are giving the universe one more vessel through which good can flow. Let that sink in. You are not here to survive. You are here to circulate the divine. Your hands are meant to give. Your mind is meant to create. Your heart is meant to expand. That expansion is what the world needs. You were never meant to live small. You were never meant to count pennies and fear the future. That was programming, not purpose. And every time you repeat words of abundance, you are rewriting that code. You are telling your cells, we are safe now. You are telling your mind, we are capable now. You are telling the universe, we are ready now. Money hears readiness like music. It moves toward the sound of peace. It gathers around calm, confident energy. That's why desperate energy repels and ease attracts. Because desperation says, I don't have. Ease says, I already am. And the universe, being perfectly literal, always responds to I am. So, you start walking through your wealth is the air you breathe. It's invisible, but essential. It surrounds you, supports you, and expands with every breath. Each time you pay a bill, whisper thank you for the flow. Each time you spend, imagine it multiplying on its return. Each time you receive, remember, this is not luck, this is alignment. Luck is random. Alignment is chosen. And you are choosing alignment right now. You no longer measure wealth in dollars, you measure it in peace. You no longer chase possessions. You attract possibilities. You no longer compete. You collaborate with the current of creation. You are the calm in the marketplace, the stillness in the storm, the wealth that doesn't need to prove itself. Your energy says everything your words no longer need to. And that energy speaks louder than any strategy. People feel it when they meet you. That grounded confidence, that sparkle in your tone, that sense of trust that says this one knows something. They may not know what it is, but they'll want to be around it. That's your abundance frequency at work. You've become magnetic, not by doing more, but by being more. By being who you were before fear taught you to hide. Every time you affirm your worth, you step closer to your natural state. Every time you let go of control, you let life lead. And life loves to lead those who trust it. Trust doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means seeing beyond it. It means knowing that even when your current bank balance looks small, your energetic account is overflowing. It means remembering that every bill paid is proof that you can, and every dollar spent is a vote of faith in your own ability to receive. You are not the balance in your account. You are the consciousness that creates it. The numbers only mirror your belief. So when you shift belief, the numbers follow like loyal reflections. Say it quietly to yourself. I am the source. I am the flow. I am the channel through which abundance arrives. And as you say it, something inside clicks. Something in your body relaxes. Because deep down, you've always known it's true. You were born with the vibration of wealth. It was never taught. It was inherited from the infinite. You came from abundance, and abundance came from you. All you're doing now is remembering. Every affirmation, every moment of peace, every smile of gratitude. It's not learning something new. It's remembering who you've always been. And when you remember, reality rearranges. It bends to your awareness. It begins to mirror your knowing instead of your fear. That's the real power of manifestation. Not creating from lack, but creating from truth. The truth that says, I am already enough. I am already rich. I am already whole. Everything else is simply catching up to that frequency. And then it happens. Without warning, without fanfare. Something shifts in your reality. A message arrives, a payment clears, an opportunity appears where there was none before. You smile, not in surprise, but in recognition. This is what it feels like when belief becomes visible. It always arrives quietly, naturally, like a breath you didn't notice you were holding. And when it comes, it feels so effortless, you almost forget you ever worried. Because true manifestation never feels foreign. It feels familiar. It feels like something returning home. You look around and realize life has caught up to your inner world. The things you spoke in faith are now speaking back to you. The affirmations you repeated are now realities you live inside of. You don't even celebrate with shock. You celebrate with calm joy because you knew. That's the real joy of manifestation. Not surprise, but remembrance. You don't say, I can't believe it. You say, of course. Of course it's here. Because the same energy that placed the order is the one that received it. Gratitude fills you, not as a reaction, but as a rhythm. You wake up in the morning whispering thank yous into the air. Thank you for the peace in my home. Thank you for the ease in my finances. Thank you for the harmony that moves through my days. Thank you for the proof that faith works faster than fear. Each thank you is a light signal to the universe saying, message received. Delivery confirmed. And the more gratitude you send out, the more reasons you are given to continue. Because gratitude is not an ending. It's an acceleration. The moment you say thank you, the universe marks your next order as priority shipping. Because it knows you value what you have, and value magnetizes more value. Soon you begin to see abundance everywhere. Not just in your bank account, but in laughter, in sunsets, in friendships, in timing. You realize that wealth was never about money alone, it was about overflow. Overflow of joy. Overflow of creativity. Overflow of love. You are now living in a state of overflow. And from that overflow you give. You give naturally, not to earn, not to prove, but because giving feels like breathing. You give to the waiter, to the friend, to the stranger in need. And each time you give, you can feel the universe smiling. Because it knows you finally understand. It was never about hoarding, it was about circulating. Abundance that stops flowing becomes stagnant, but abundance that moves multiplies. You are now the current itself, flowing freely, joyfully, endlessly. You've stepped into the rhythm of divine economy. You've realized there is no shortage in a universe that keeps expanding. And that expansion moves through you. So you keep receiving and releasing with equal grace. You spend without guilt, knowing every dollar returns tenfold. You save with peace, not fear, knowing more is always on the way. You live in the confidence that you are supported by infinite supply. This is not arrogance. This is spiritual maturity. This is understanding the laws of your own creation. You've outgrown scarcity, not because you found more money, but because you found more truth. And that truth feels like freedom. Freedom from worry. Freedom from chasing. Freedom from comparison. Freedom from the false stories of lack that once played in your mind like old commercials for struggle. Now, your thoughts are different. Your inner talk has changed. You no longer ask, "Can I afford it?" You ask, "Is it aligned with my joy?" Because abundance is no longer about permission. It's about resonance. If it makes your energy rise, it's for you. If it drains your peace, it's not worth any price. Peace has become your new currency. And when peace is your currency, everything you buy enriches your soul. Every experience becomes an investment in joy. Every decision flows from trust instead of tension. That's wealth in its truest form. To wake up with ease, to give without fear, to receive without guilt, to exist without apology. You've learned that money isn't a master. It's a mirror. It reflects your inner world, and now that world glows with faith. Now, your reflection gleams with certainty. People around you start to notice, they say, "You've changed. You seem lighter, calmer, luckier." But you know it isn't luck. It's alignment. It's that invisible order you placed long ago, now delivering daily blessings. You no longer need to convince anyone that manifestation works. Your life speaks louder than any teaching. Your peace is proof. Your joy is proof. Your ease is proof. And as you continue to live this way, something even greater unfolds. You realize you are not just receiving abundance. You are embodying it for others. Your energy becomes a silent permission slip. People sense your certainty and begin to believe again. They start to order their own blessings with less fear. They start to trust their own voice with more confidence. You are teaching by example. You are showing that faith is practical. That gratitude is powerful. That abundance is normal. This is the ripple effect of your manifestation. One aligned soul can inspire thousands to remember their own divine power. And as you bless others, you are blessed again. because the universe multiplies through circulation. Every time you give joy, joy returns multiplied. This is how the cycle sustains itself. Effortlessly. You don't need to control it. You only need to stay in the flow. The flow knows where to take you next. You are guided, supported, surrounded. Your future is not uncertain. It is unfolding in precise rhythm. Your desires are not far. They are just waiting for you to recognize them as done. So when you think of the next thing you want, smile. It's already being prepared. It's already packaged in divine timing. It's already on its way. You never have to ask if again. Only how good will it feel when it arrives. And that thought alone magnetizes the next delivery. You start to notice that the flow never really stops. Even when one blessing completes its cycle, another begins quietly in the background. There's a hum beneath everything. A pulse of life that keeps whispering, more is coming, more is growing, more is unfolding. At first, you think it's coincidence. Then you realize it's continuity. The universe doesn't deal in single miracles, it deals in streams. And you have tapped into the current that never runs dry. You can feel it in the way opportunities overlap, how one open door leads naturally to the next, how even endings feel like beginnings wearing new clothes. That's how infinite flow works. It doesn't close, it curves. Money flows like breath. Ideas flow like water. Support flows like sunlight. Constant, dependable, unseen but always there. And the moment you stop forcing, you start feeling it. You are never out of flow. You are only ever out of awareness. And awareness is just a breath away. You breathe in and remember, I am connected to everything that sustains me. You breathe out and remember, everything I release returns multiplied. This rhythm becomes your meditation. No rituals, no effort. Just remembering the truth in every inhale and exhale. You begin to see the world differently. There is no competition in the infinite. There is no shortage in the eternal. Every soul has its own stream. And when you stay in yours, everything moves smoothly. Comparison was the only block, and you've released it. Now you can celebrate others' success like your own, because you understand that their abundance confirms the system works. It's proof, not threat. And the more you celebrate, the more reasons you have to. The flow accelerates where joy is. Joy is the speed of abundance. Gratitude is the map. You now live guided by both. You don't chase opportunities, you recognize them. You don't demand, you invite. You don't fear, you feel. Everything that matches your frequency simply glides toward you. Clients, collaborations, creativity, clarity. Each one arriving with the same effortless grace as air filling your lungs. And when something doesn't show up, you no longer panic. You smile. Because now you know, if it's not here, it's either not needed or not yet refined. The flow never denies, it redirects. You trust that even delays are divine timing, stretching itself into perfection. You trust that every pause is preparation. You trust that the universe is arranging not just your delivery, but the perfect moment, mood, and mindset to receive it fully. That's how gentle true manifestation becomes. It's not loud. It's not desperate. It's steady. It's certain. The way the tide always returns, the way spring always follows winter. That's how abundance works. It's cyclical, reliable, infinite. You don't have to wonder if it will come back. You only have to stay open when it does. And staying open has become your lifestyle. You speak kindly to yourself, you rest without guilt. You invest in your joy. You take inspired action when prompted and allow space when called to rest. You've learned that rest is also part of creation. Seeds don't push, they root. And your quiet moments are where roots of your next manifestation grow deepest. Even when nothing seems to be happening, everything is happening. Behind the scenes, energy is aligning, people are being guided, doors are unlocking. You can feel the subtle hum of progress, even in stillness. You've become fluent in the language of divine timing. You understand that doesn't mean no. It simply means better prepared version loading. And while it loads, you live, you enjoy, you dance, you rest. Because life isn't waiting for manifestation. Life is manifestation in motion. Every breath is proof that abundance flows without permission. Every heartbeat is proof that energy never stops giving. You are sustained by a rhythm older than the stars and fresher than this moment. Now you know wealth is not earned, it's allowed. It's not chased, it's chosen. It's not something to reach, it's something to remember. The more you remember, the more effortless it becomes. Doors open before you knock. Answers arrive before you ask. Support appears before you fall. That's what happens when you live in alignment with infinite flow. You start to create not from fear of lack, but from overflow of love. And that love paints your world in brighter colors. In opportunities, in synchronicities, in small moments that feel miraculous, because they are. You are now a walking invitation for prosperity. Every step you take sends ripples through the field of potential, and every ripple carries your signature piece. Joy, trust. The universe recognizes that signature. It reads your vibration like an address label and delivers directly to your door. Because when you vibrate as wholeness, life knows exactly where to send the gifts. And it will never stop. It can't stop because you and the flow are one. There's no separation between source and receiver. You are both. The dreamer and the dream, the creator and the creation. So as you rest tonight, as you speak your affirmations, as you visualize the life you desire, know that the moment you imagine it, the order is already placed. And the moment you believe it, the shipment is already sent. There is no waiting in the infinite, only unfolding. The delivery is continuous. The blessings are overlapping. And the flow, the beautiful, abundant, eternal flow, is forever yours. And now you arrive at stillness. The journey that began with asking ends here. In knowing. Not the kind of knowing that comes from words, but the kind that hums in your bones. Quiet and absolute. You are not outside the flow. You are the flow. Every breath you take is the rhythm of receiving and giving. Every thought you choose is a seed in the field of wealth. The more you remember this, the softer life becomes. You no longer wake with worry. You wake with wonder. You look at your hands and realize they are instruments of creation. You look at your life and see evidence everywhere. Proof that belief is the greatest builder. You whisper thank you for no reason at all. And that's when the magic multiplies. Because the universe listens most closely to gratitude that has no agenda. That quiet thank you, that sigh of contentment, is the purest signal of trust. Trust turns the invisible visible. It transforms waiting into witnessing. It allows you to stand in the middle of your current reality and already feel the next one forming around you. You live lighter now. You laugh more easily. Money feels natural again, like language you've finally remembered how to speak. It flows in conversations, in ideas, in unexpected kindness. You find yourself giving without fear, because you know giving and receiving are the same movement. One inhale, one exhale. And the more you allow that rhythm, the more you feel at home in the infinite. There is no more chase. There is no more trying. There is only being. Being abundance. Being gratitude. Being peace. This is what true manifestation was always meant to teach you. Not how to get more, but how to remember you already are more. As you rest tonight, imagine yourself surrounded by golden light. It moves softly around you, through you, beyond you. It carries your name, your dreams, your prayers. It stretches out across the universe, connecting you to ever being yours and everything that ever will be. You are safe in this glow. You are guided in this glow. You are wealthy in this glow. And as you breathe, the light grows warmer. It becomes the pulse of creation. The same pulse that beats through stars and oceans, now beating through you. You realize there was never a separation between you and the divine. There was only forgetting. But now you remember. You remember that every desire is divine communication, a spark of creation calling itself home. You remember that the universe is not testing you. It's teeming with you. You remember that wealth is not distant, it's intimate. You are abundance walking itself into awareness. You are prosperity experiencing itself through human form. And every time you speak love, think joy, or give thanks, you amplify the entire field of creation. So, let tonight be sacred. Let it be the night you stop asking how and start living wow. The night you stop rehearsing your worth and start radiating it. The night you stop hoping for proof and start becoming the proof. You are the evidence of answered prayers. You are the continuation of every yes ever spoken by the universe. You are the intersection where faith meets form. And from this moment forward, every step you take is a declaration. I am wealthy because I am whole. I am abundant because I am aligned. I am magnetic because I am myself. The universe smiles through you now. Every breeze that touches your face, every sound that crosses your path, every gentle coincidence. They're all saying the same thing. Welcome home to the flow. Rest in that knowing. Let it cradle you. Let it hum through your sleep and reshape your tomorrow. You no longer need to call your wealth. It already knows your name. You no longer need to prove your worth. It's woven into your being. You no longer need to chase. Everything that belongs to you is on its way, and it knows exactly where to find you. You are the signal, the receiver, the sender, the flow. Infinite, effortless, eternal. And it is done. It is done. The universe does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you are, to what you embody, to what you expect without question. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, faith knows it has already received and acts accordingly. This is the secret of acting as if. To act as if is not to fake, not to pretend in emptiness, but to align with the truth that already exists in the unseen. When you act as if you are rich, heaven hears your faith and mirrors it back into your reality. Think about it. Every blessing you are waiting for already exists in spirit. There is no lack in the divine. There is only supply, waiting to flow into the channel that is prepared to receive it. Acting as if is preparation. It is clearing space for the blessing before it arrives. It is setting the table before the feast is served. It is putting on the garment of abundance before the wealth walks through the door. Beloved, you must understand this. The law of life is not, see it, then believe it. The law is, believe it, then see it. Spirit asks you to step into the vibration of what you desire before it manifests in form. That is why acting as if is so powerful. When you carry yourself as though wealth is already yours, you are not lying, you are prophesying. You are declaring to the universe, I know it is done, I know it belongs to me, I know it will appear in perfect ways. Some may laugh at this. Some may say, but I do not have the money, how can I act as if? Beloved, do not confuse acting as if with empty pretense. This is not about buying luxuries you cannot afford. It is not about debt or show. It is not about impressing others. It is about shifting your spirit into alignment with divine law. To act as if is to live in faith, not fear. It is to carry dignity in your walk, gratitude in your words, confidence in your posture, and expectancy in your prayers. When you speak, do you speak as though you are always in lack, always waiting, always begging? Or do you speak as though you are already supplied, already provided for, already rich in spirit? Florence Scovel Shinn reminded us, the invisible forces are ever working for man who is always pulling the strings himself, though he does not know it. Your words pull the strings. Your actions pull the strings. Your attitude pulls the strings. And what you act out in faith becomes what you live out in reality. Beloved, the universe is like a mirror. If you walk in fear, it reflects fear. If you walk in scarcity, it reflects scarcity. But if you walk in faith, it reflects abundance. If you carry yourself as though you are already wealthy, already supplied, already established, the mirror of life cannot help but reflect it back. This is not theory, it is law. And so I ask you, how are you acting today? Are you moving through life as a beggar or as a receiver? Are you speaking as one who doubts or as one who decrees? Are you waiting for the blessing to appear before you believe? Or are you bold enough to act as if you already hold it in your hand? Beloved, Spirit honors boldness. Spirit honors expectancy. Spirit honors those who dare to live as though the promise is already fulfilled. When you act as if, you collapse the gap between the unseen and the seen. You shorten the distance between the prayer and the answer. You demonstrate faith so strong that the universe must respond. So hear me today. Pretending in ego leads only to frustration. But acting as if in faith transforms everything. The moment you shift your posture, your words, your mindset into wealth consciousness, you begin to magnetize the opportunities, the resources, the ideas, and the people that carry your blessing. Spirit has already prepared your abundance, but it is your job to act as if you are ready to receive it. This, beloved, is the open door. This is the key to attracting wealth. Not waiting in worry, not begging in fear, but acting as if it is already yours. For the truth is sure, what you dare to embody in faith, the universe must deliver in form. Beloved, the law of assumption is the foundation of acting as if. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, man can only receive what he sees himself receiving. This is the very heartbeat of manifestation. The universe does not give you what you wish for. It gives you what you assume to be true. Assumption is stronger than hope, stronger than doubt, stronger even than effort. Assumption is faith dressed in certainty. It is living as though the unseen blessing is already here, and because you live as if it is, it cannot help but appear. When you act as if, you are practicing the law of assumption in motion. You assume wealth belongs to you, so you carry yourself with gratitude instead of desperation. You assume supply is always flowing, so you speak as though you are never lacking. You assume doors are open, so you walk with confidence instead of hesitation. This is not arrogance. It is agreement with divine law. Beloved, hear this: what you assume becomes your reality because assumption is a vibration. When you assume poverty, you vibrate scarcity, and scarcity finds you. When you assume delay, you vibrate postponement, and opportunities slip away. But when you assume wealth, you vibrate abundance, and abundance is drawn to you. The universe responds not to your empty words, but to the assumption behind them. This is why Florence taught, faith never weeps or wrings its hands. It rejoices and gives thanks because it knows it has already received. That is assumption. It is not begging for wealth. It is behaving as though wealth is inevitable. It is not chasing opportunities. It is attracting them with a posture that says, I am already supplied. Beloved, think of it this way. A king does not beg for his crown. He assumes it belongs to him and acts accordingly. He walks with authority, he speaks with confidence, he makes decisions from a place of abundance. That assumption shapes his world, and so it must be with you. You must assume the role of abundance long before the evidence shows up. You must act as if the crown is already on your head, and the universe will eventually place it there. The law of assumption is also the law of preparation. When you assume your blessing, you prepare for it. You do not say, "One day I will be rich, and then I will be generous." You say, "Because I know I am wealthy in spirit, I can give with joy now." You do not say, "When the opportunity comes, I will rise." You say, "Because I know my path is aligned, I will rise today." Assumption prepares the soil for the harvest. Beloved, the world often mocks assumption. It calls it pretending, it calls it fantasy, it calls it foolishness. But the world does not know divine law. What the world calls foolish, spirit calls faith. Acting as if is not self-deception. It is self-prophecy. You are speaking your world into existence by the assumptions you carry within. And do not confuse assumption with wishing. Wishing is weak, assumption is strong. Wishing says, "I hope it happens." Assumption says, "It is already done." Wishing keeps you in delay. Assumption brings you into manifestation. Spirit responds to certainty, not to hesitation. Beloved, this is why many pray and see no results. Their words are strong, but their assumptions are weak. They declare abundance but assume lack. They pray for wealth but carry themselves as though they are cursed. Spirit cannot deliver when assumption contradicts decree. But when your assumption and your word align, manifestation must appear. So I tell you today, align your assumption with your desire. Assume wealth belongs to you. Assume doors are already open. Assume supply is already flowing, and then act as if. For the law is sure: what you assume, you attract. And what you act out in faith, you will live out in form. Beloved, the greatest secret of acting as if is this: it shifts your identity. And when your identity changes, your entire life changes with it. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, "Man can only have what he sees himself receiving." This is not simply about wishing for wealth. It is about becoming the person who knows wealth belongs to them. Acting as if is not about the outer show. It is about the inner shift. It is not about dressing in clothes you cannot afford or flashing riches to impress others. That is vanity, and vanity collapses. Acting as if is about stepping into a higher identity, one that carries dignity, gratitude, confidence, and expectancy. It is not about deceiving the world. It is about convincing your spirit. Beloved, hear this: you cannot attract wealth while holding on to the identity of poverty. You cannot magnetize abundance while seeing yourself as unworthy. Spirit will not pour treasure into a vessel that refuses to believe it deserves it. The law requires that you first shift within, and then the outer world mirrors the change. When you act as if you are already rich, you are not pretending. You are rehearsing your future. You are telling your subconscious mind, "This is who I am now." And once your mind believes it, your actions align, your vibration rises, and opportunities gravitate toward you. The universe always rearranges itself to match identity. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that words and imagination shape destiny. Identity is simply imagination repeated until it becomes truth. If you imagine yourself poor, you will speak poor, act poor, and live poor. But if you imagine yourself rich, rich in faith, rich in peace, rich in provision, you will carry yourself with the grace of abundance. And soon, abundance will have no choice but to meet you. Beloved, this is why Scripture declares, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." Your identity is the magnet of your reality. The world outside is only a mirror of the world you carry inside. If you see yourself small, your world shrinks. If you see yourself cursed, your world collapses. But if you see yourself as rich, supplied, and favored, then everything around you must rise to that picture. Acting as if is the key to this shift. When you walk into a room with confidence, when you speak with the authority of one who knows they are blessed, when you make decisions from faith instead of fear, you are training your identity to match wealth. Beloved, wealth is not a number in the bank. It is an identity in the soul, and when you carry that identity, the numbers will follow. Think of a seed planted in the soil. At first, there is no evidence above ground. But in the unseen, roots are forming, growth is happening. Acting as if is like watering that seed. Every step you take as though the blessing is already here nourishes the identity that will produce the harvest. And just as surely as a seed must grow, your identity must produce its fruit. Beloved, many fail because they wait to see wealth before shifting their identity. They wait to feel worthy until the blessing appears. But divine law does not work this way. The shift must come first. The acting as if must come first. The identity must rise first. And then the outer world follows like a shadow. So I ask you, beloved, who are you acting as today? Are you acting as one who is cursed, who is small, who is always waiting? Or are you acting as one who is rich in spirit, rich in faith, rich in provision? Spirit is watching your identity, not your circumstances. And when your identity matches abundance, abundance will manifest without delay. Beloved, say it now with me, I shift my identity. I act as if I am already rich. I am worthy of abundance. I am aligned with supply. I walk in wealth. I speak in faith. I live in gratitude. When you decree this daily, you anchor the new identity. And soon, the world will have no choice but to mirror it back to you. Beloved, acting as if is not about empty show. It is not about faking for approval or drowning yourself in debt to look wealthy. That is pretense, and pretense collapses under its own weight. Acting as if is about alignment. It is about living now in the vibration of abundance before it appears in form. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, "Gratitude is the law of increase, and complaint is the law of decrease." The moment you live in gratitude, you are already acting as if wealth belongs to you. So how can you practice this in your daily life? Let us make it plain. First, act as if through gratitude. Wealthy souls are grateful souls. They bless what they have, no matter how small, and it multiplies. If you have $1, treat it as though it were 1,000. Bless it, thank Spirit for it, declare that it will grow under grace. When you open your wallet, do not sigh in lack. Speak in abundance. This money is blessed. It multiplies as it moves. I am always supplied. Gratitude is the seed that multiplies supply. Second, act as if through your words. Beloved, wealthy souls speak differently. They do not complain. They do not curse their circumstances. They do not rehearse fear. They speak expectancy, confidence, and blessing. Florence reminded us that your word is your wand. So ask yourself, are your words creating lack, or are they creating wealth? Begin to replace, "I can't afford it," with, "It is not mine to buy today, but the supply is on its way." Replace, "I am broke," with, "I am rich in spirit, and provision always arrives." Your tongue can block wealth, or it can open the floodgates. Choose wisely. Third, act as if through your posture. Wealth is not only heard in your words, it is seen in your walk. Stand tall, beloved. Walk with confidence. Carry yourself with dignity, no matter what is in your bank account. The universe responds to posture. A bowed head attracts burden, a lifted head attracts opportunity. Begin to act as if Spirit has already placed a crown upon your head, for in truth, it has. Act as if through small acts of generosity. Poverty clings, wealth releases. To give, even in small amounts, is to declare, "I trust in infinite supply." Buy someone a coffee, bless a stranger, give a little more than expected. Each act of generosity is a rehearsal of abundance. It proves to Spirit that you know supply flows through you, not just to you. Fifth, act as if through preparation. Beloved, if you truly believed wealth was on its way, how would you prepare? Would you open a savings account? Would you study investing? Would you organize your finances? Would you declutter your space to welcome new things? Preparation is faith in action. It says to heaven, "I know it is coming, and I am ready." The universe cannot pour wealth into a vessel that is unprepared. Finally, act as if through expectancy. Live each day as though the blessing could arrive today. Do not drag your feet as one waiting forever. Walk with the energy of one who expects miracles at any moment. When opportunities appear, be quick to recognize them. When ideas come, write them down. When doors open, walk through without hesitation. Expectancy attracts acceleration. Beloved, these practices are not games. They are decrees in action. Every time you bless your money, every time you change your words, Every time you walk with dignity, every time you give, every time you prepare, every time you expect, you are writing your wealth into reality. Spirit sees, Spirit responds, Spirit delivers. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, "Man must prepare for the thing he has asked for, when there isn't the slightest sign of it in sight." That is the essence of acting as if. When you practice these daily, you create a vibration so strong that wealth cannot resist you. So begin today, beloved. Act as if, walk as if, speak as if, give as if, prepare as if, expect as if, and soon you will live not in acting but in reality, for Spirit will deliver exactly what you dared to embody. Beloved, there is a holy difference between pretense and true faith. Many confuse the two, and because of it, they block their own blessing. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, "Faith knows it has already received and acts accordingly." Faith acts as if from a place of certainty, while pretense acts from a place of fear. One attracts wealth, the other repels it. Let us make it plain. Pretense is rooted in ego. It seeks to impress others, to prove something, to cover inner doubt with outer display. It borrows to look wealthy. It spends recklessly to appear important. It fakes abundance without believing abundance truly belongs to it. Pretense is an empty shell, and empty shells eventually crack. Spirit cannot bless pretense, for it is not aligned with truth. Faith, however, is rooted in spirit. It does not need to prove anything to anyone. It does not need to chase recognition. Faith acts as if because it knows. It knows supply is infinite. It knows the universe mirrors identity. It knows wealth is already prepared. When you act as if from faith, you are not trying to convince the world. You are aligning your vibration with divine law. That is why it works. Beloved, the danger of pretense is that it creates debt, exhaustion, and disappointment. It is the young man who buys clothes he cannot afford to look successful, but beneath the surface, his spirit trembles in fear of lack. It is the woman who forces luxury she has not yet aligned with, hoping attention will cover insecurity. Pretense may shine for a moment, but it soon fades, leaving emptiness behind. Florence taught that whatever is rooted in fear must collapse, but whatever is rooted in faith must grow. Pretense is fear. It fears being seen as small, being seen as unworthy, being seen as lacking. Faith is boldness. It knows its worth is already secure, its supply already certain, its abundance already assured. Faith needs no performance, only alignment. Beloved, when you act as if, examine your spirit. Are you doing it to prove, or are you doing it to align? Are you showing off to the world, or are you showing faith to spirit? Are you moving in debt and anxiety, or are you moving in gratitude and expectancy? The motive determines the outcome. And here is the truth: spirit cannot be mocked. The vibration you carry reveals whether it is pretense or faith. If you're acting as if feels heavy, fearful, anxious, it is pretense, and it will fail. But if it feels light, joyful, grateful, it is faith, and it will manifest. The universe knows the difference. Beloved, remember this always: true faith is quiet. It does not scream for validation. It does not rush to prove. It carries peace. It walks with certainty. It speaks with confidence. When you act as if from faith, others may not even notice, but heaven does, and heaven rewards. So do not burden yourself with performance. Do not pretend for approval. Do not borrow to impress. That is counterfeit wealth, and it invites collapse. Instead, embody wealth in spirit. Walk tall, speak blessings, bless your money, give freely, prepare your space, live in expectancy. These are acts of faith, not pretense. And faith, beloved, never fails. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, "There is a supply for every demand. Pretense demands without faith, and so it receives nothing. Faith acts as if supply is already flowing, and so it receives in abundance." This is the difference. Beloved, let your acting as if be pure, rooted in spirit, grounded in gratitude. For the universe does not respond to the show. It responds to the substance. It does not reward pretense. It rewards faith. And when you act as if from faith, wealth will not only find you, it will remain. Beloved, we have uncovered the secret of acting as if, not as empty pretense, but as living faith. We have seen that assumption shapes reality, that identity attracts destiny, that daily practices align you with wealth, and that faith, not fear, must guide your actions. Now it is time to seal this truth with decree. Place your hand upon your heart and speak with authority. I act as if abundance is already mine. I embody wealth in spirit, and therefore wealth flows to me in form. I carry myself with dignity, gratitude, and faith, for I know supply is infinite and always available to me. Say it again, stronger this time. I do not pretend to impress, I embody to align. I live as though every prayer is already answered, every need is already met, every door is already open. I walk by faith, not by sight, and I attract wealth under grace and in perfect ways. Beloved, when you decree these words, you collapse the gap between the unseen and the seen. You tell the universe who you are, and the universe must respond. For spirit mirrors faith, and what you dare to embody, you will inevitably experience. So walk forward today not as one waiting, but as one receiving. Act as if you are already rich, not in arrogance, but in certainty. Act as if your supply is secure, not in pretense, but in faith. Act as if Spirit has already poured out the blessing, for in truth it has. Beloved, declare it daily, live it boldly, and you will see it surely. Pretending in fear collapses, but acting in faith attracts wealth without end. And so it is. Beloved soul, you are never unprotected. You are never alone. At this very moment, unseen light surrounds you, a radiant armor woven from divine love, faith, and peace. You walk in the presence of infinite intelligence, and that presence goes before you, preparing your path, clearing your way, and dissolving all danger before you even arrive. The world may speak of fear, but divine law speaks of protection. Fear says, what if something happens? Faith says, nothing can touch me unless it carries God's permission and purpose. And when your faith becomes your fortress, nothing in the world can pierce your peace. Say softly, I am surrounded by divine light. I am safe. I am guided. I am protected in all that I do. Protection is not about hiding, it is about remembering. When you remember who you are, a spark of the infinite, a child of divine substance, fear loses its grip. No weapon formed against you can prosper, because in divine consciousness there are no weapons, only illusions of fear trying to be believed. Say with quiet confidence, I do not fear. I remember my source. I live under grace and in perfect love. The law of protection is the law of awareness. What you are aware of, you invite. If you are aware of light, light meets you. If you are aware of fear, fear approaches. And so each morning, you are called to declare your awareness of divine safety, not as a ritual, but as a remembrance. Before you leave your home, before you take a step into the world, say within your heart, divine love goes before me, making safe, joyous, and successful my way. I am invisible to all harm. I am visible only to good. Feel the energy of those words wrap around you like golden light. This light is not imagination. It is energy. It is law. It is the same light that guided Moses through the Red Sea, that surrounded Daniel in the lion's den, that walked beside the Christ in the storm. That same presence now walks beside you. There is nothing to fear when you know this truth. You are not at the mercy of circumstance. You are under divine order. You are not a victim of energy. You are the vibration of divine protection itself. Say it aloud, I am the vibration of divine protection. I walk in peace. I rest in safety. I dwell in the secret place of the Most High. Every day brings you into contact with energy, words, thoughts, emotions, from people and places. Some are bright and kind, others heavy and confused. But none of it can cling to you if your spirit is anchored in light. You do not need to fight darkness. You only need to stay aware of your own light. Light dissolves shadow without effort. The truth is simple, you are safest when you are peaceful. Peace is not weakness. Peace is power. Peace is the frequency of divine protection. And when your vibration remains peaceful, you rise above confusion, chaos, and danger. Say softly, my peace protects me. My peace guides me. My peace is my proof that divine order is at work. When you begin your day with fear, you open your energy to accidents and anxiety. But when you begin your day with faith, You open your energy to safety and success. Divine protection is not luck. It is alignment. It is knowing that wherever you go, divine intelligence has already gone before you. There are unseen hands that guide your steps. There are unseen angels that stand guard at your doors. There is unseen order in everything that seems uncertain. The same power that keeps the stars from colliding keeps your path secure. Say with gratitude, "Thank you, Divine Source, that I am protected in all ways always. No harm can enter my field, for my field is filled with love." Every word you speak creates your world, so let your words be shields of light. When you say, "I am protected," heaven agrees. When you say, "Nothing can harm me," angels align. When you say, "Divine love goes before me," roads open, storms still, and peace walks beside you. Do not let your mind dwell on danger, dwell on deliverance. Do not let your heart entertain fear, entertain faith. For faith is the atmosphere in which protection thrives. Say now, "I walk by faith, not by fear. I walk by light, not by sight. I walk in divine confidence, for I am divinely protected." And when worry tries to whisper, remember this truth. Worry is the prayer of fear. Faith is the prayer of love. Pray love. Speak love. Live love. When you say, "Nothing can harm me," it is not arrogance. It is alignment. You are aligning yourself with the eternal law that love protects its own. See yourself now surrounded by white, gold light. It covers your home, your loved ones, your plans, your dreams. Every word you have spoken in faith has become a wall of radiance around your life. This wall is not made of stone, it is made of truth, and truth cannot be broken. Say again, "I live in truth. I live in love. Therefore, I live in perfect safety." This is daily spiritual protection. Not superstition, but spiritual science. You do not need to watch the shadows when you walk with the sun, and you do not need to fear darkness when you carry light. So walk in peace, beloved soul. You are surrounded, supplied, supported, and secured by divine law. Nothing can touch the child of God. Nothing can enter the field of light except love. Repeat it as your declaration. I am surrounded by divine love. I am protected by divine power. I am guided by divine wisdom. Every step I take is safe. Every path I walk is blessed. And so it is. And so it continues, every morning, every moment, under grace and in perfect protection. Beloved soul, the word you speak is your wand. It is not a whisper into air. It is a command into creation. Every word is energy, clothed in sound, charged with power, and set free to perform its purpose. And when you understand this, you begin to build your protection not from fear, but from faith. For your words form the armor that nothing of darkness can pierce. Say softly, "My words are my armor. My speech is my shield." Every word I speak is clothed in divine power. When you speak with love, you are covered in light. When you speak with fear, you open your door to confusion. That is why divine law teaches, by your words you are justified, and by your words you are condemned. Your speech decides your shield. Many walk unprotected, not because they lack prayer, but because they lack awareness of their spoken word. They say, "I'm afraid." They say, "Bad things always happen to me." And the universe, hearing them, obeys. For the law does not discriminate between joke and judgment. It only fulfills what is declared with emotion. But the awakened soul speaks differently. The awakened soul says, "I am divinely guided. I am safe in every direction. No harm can touch me, for my words are light." Say that now with conviction, "My words are light. My words go before me and prepare my way. My words guard my home, protect my body, and bless my path." Each morning, you can put on this invisible armor through speech. It is simple, powerful, eternal. When you rise, declare, "Divine love goes before me today and makes easy, joyous, and safe my way." That single sentence becomes an energetic wall of light. No negative force can enter a field surrounded by love. The words of fear attract what they name. The words of faith attract what they expect. So speak not of what you dread. Speak only of what you desire. Say not, I don't want trouble, but I walk in peace. Say not, I hope nothing bad happens, but all things work together for my good. Your word is law. The moment you speak in faith, the universe rearranges itself to obey you. For divine power flows through the human tongue like current through wire. Your mouth is the gateway of miracles. Say it slowly. My words carry the vibration of peace. My words carry the frequency of love. My words carry the authority of divine law. When you speak protection over your life, it is not wishful thinking, it is spiritual engineering. Every affirmation builds a structure in the unseen realm. Every declaration becomes a wall of radiant energy around you. You may not see it, but creation sees it. You may not feel it instantly, but life begins to move according to it. Think of a soldier. They do not go to battle without armor. You, too, enter the world daily where thoughts, energies, and words fly like arrows. But your armor is invisible and invincible. It is the vibration of your speech. Every I am safe deflects fear. Every I am loved dissolves hostility. I am guided redirects danger. Say softly, my words are my weapon and my peace. I speak light, therefore I live in light. Remember this divine secret. Silence has power, but speech has direction. Silence holds energy, but words send it forth. So when you speak, speak deliberately. Let no idle word leave your lips. Every careless word leaks energy. Every conscious word reinforces your protection. When you bless your day blesses you. When you bless your home becomes a temple. When you bless your money multiplies. Blessing is not habit, it is command. To bless means to call something into divine order. Say now, I bless my life. I bless my body. I bless my surroundings. I bless all who come near me with peace and goodwill. And in that moment, heaven responds. Even those who wish you harm are disarmed by invisible love. For no negative word can penetrate a field of divine blessing. This is why Florence Scovel Shinn taught, your word is your sword. A sword cuts through illusion. When you declare truth, it slices through fear. When you affirm love, it severs the roots of worry. When you speak prosperity, it cuts away limitation. You are never defenseless. Your speech is your defense. Every I am is a decree. Every I will is a creation. Every I trust is a command to the unseen forces of good. Say gently, I now speak words of divine protection. Every sound that leaves my lips carries light. My words are guided by divine intelligence and backed by spiritual law. Even in silence, your inner words create. So monitor your thought, speech as carefully as your verbal speech. For a thought repeated becomes vibration, and vibration becomes form. This is why you must choose words of strength, not sorrow, of certainty, not confusion. When your inner dialogue says, I am safe, your outer world reflects it. When your inner voice says, I am loved, even strangers treat you kindly. When your inner world says, I am light, no darkness can enter. Say this as a morning decree, divine love surrounds me, divine light protects me, divine power guards me, divine wisdom guides me. I am safe, I am loved, I am secure in all ways. Let those words echo in your heart throughout the day. They will not only protect you, they will direct you. They will lead you away from danger and toward destiny. They will keep your vibration high and your path clear. Remember, you do not need to beg for protection. You simply need to declare it. You are not pleading with God to save you. You are agreeing with God that you are already safe. That is the difference between fear and faith. Say with divine authority, I decree protection over my mind, my body, my spirit, my home, my path. Nothing of fear can touch me. Nothing of harm can find me. My word is law, and my law is love. You are speaking from the throne of divine consciousness. Your words are not small. They move substance. They travel into the invisible, and return with visible proof. Each sentence spoken in love builds another layer of light around your life, and soon you will feel it. That calm assurance that wherever you go, you are wrapped in something unseen yet unmistakably real. That is the armor of words. Say one last time, my words are clothed in light. My speech is protected by grace. Every word I speak builds a wall of divine peace around me. I am safe, I am strong, I am surrounded by love. And so it is, and so it continues, as divine law made manifest through your spoken word. Beloved soul, every day you walk through energies. Some are bright with joy, others are heavy with fear. If you do not cleanse yourself spiritually, those vibrations begin to cling. Not because they are stronger than you, but because you forgot to release them. Divine protection is not only a shield, it is a flow. When energy stagnates, fear hides within it. But when you cleanse, forgive, and bless, all heaviness dissolves, and your light expands again. Say softly, I am cleansed by divine love. I am washed in light. All heaviness now leaves my mind, my heart, my home, and my life. Fear is not real power. It is simply faith inverted. Belief in what you do not want instead of what you desire. And the moment you return your attention to divine love, fear fades like fog before the sunrise. You do not fight fear, you outshine it. You do not battle darkness, you turn on the light. You do not argue with negativity, you bless it into silence. Say with calm authority, all fear is dissolved in divine love. Every thought not of peace now melts away. My field is pure. My heart is clean. My life is filled with light. Every word of worry, every memory of pain, every hidden resentment carries energy. If you hold on to it, it colors your vibration. But when you release it through love, forgiveness, and gratitude, your energy becomes radiant again. Forgiveness is the first cleansing power. To forgive does not mean to agree with what happened. It means to free yourself from it. Every time you say, I forgive, you open the windows of your soul and let divine light pour in. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is the highest strength. Say softly, I forgive everyone and everything. I forgive myself completely. I release all blame, and I am free. Now feel how your energy lifts. Forgiveness clears the air of your inner home. Resentment cannot breathe in love's atmosphere. Gratitude is the second cleansing power. Gratitude transforms what is heavy into holy. It takes what was meant for harm and turns it into wisdom. When you say thank you, for even small things, the divine multiplies them. Gratitude is light, and where there is light, no shadow can stay. Say gently, I am thankful for this moment. I am thankful for the lessons that brought me here. I am thankful for the divine love that always protects me. Even your home carries energy. So each morning or evening, speak blessing into your space. Walk through your rooms and say, this home is filled with light. Every corner glows with peace. Every wall reflects divine love. No negativity can enter here. And as you speak, energy responds. Your home becomes a temple. Your atmosphere becomes your sanctuary. Fear cannot survive where love is spoken daily. Sometimes, you may feel tired or heavy without reason. That is only the world's vibration brushing against yours. It cannot stay unless you invite it. So the moment you notice it, stop and affirms, I release what is not mine. I am pure light. I am filled with peace. I am surrounded by divine protection now. Fear always disguises itself as logic, but divine wisdom knows better. Fear says, be careful. The world is dangerous. Faith says, be calm. God is present. When you remember that divine presence is here, fear dissolves instantly. Breathe deeply and say, I breathe in peace. I breathe out fear. I breathe in faith. I breathe out doubt. I breathe in divine light. I breathe out all that no longer serves me. This is how you cleanse daily, not through struggle, but through remembrance. Every breath can be a prayer. Every word can be a blessing. Every moment can be a reset. And when people around you carry anger, gossip, or fear. You do not need to absorb it. You can bless them silently. Say within yourself, I send them light. I remain in peace. Their energy cannot enter my field. For love is not a reaction, it is creation. And your love creates a protective barrier stronger than any wall. You are not responsible for other people's darkness, but you are responsible for maintaining your own light. And when your light shines, it becomes contagious. It uplifts others without effort. So each night before you rest, cleanse again. Say, I release this day into divine hands. I forgive all. I bless all. I am renewed by peace. I sleep within the circle of divine love. And you will feel the air around you grow softer, the atmosphere lighter, your dreams calm and filled with guidance. Negativity cannot live in a heart that blesses. Fear cannot find a door in a home filled with prayer. Darkness cannot remain where love is repeated. Say gently, I am love. I am light. I am divine protection in motion. All that is not of God now leaves me forever. You are becoming untouchable not by hardness, but by holiness. You are learning that protection is not about walls. It is about waves of love moving through you and around you. This is your daily cleansing. Forgive, bless, thank, and release. The simple rhythm of the universe itself. Each time you do, your vibration rises. Each time you rise, the world rearranges to match your peace. Say one last time, I am cleansed by divine love. I am filled with divine peace. I am surrounded by divine light. Fear has no place in me, for I am one with God, now and forever. And so it is. And so it continues, pure, peaceful, and perfect, under grace and in divine protection. Beloved soul, nothing protects you more completely than the quiet certainty of faith. Faith is the invisible fortress, built without bricks and guarded without fear. Stillness is the gate that keeps confusion outside and peace within. When you are still inside, the world cannot touch you. When your heart is calm, you are beyond the reach of chaos. It is not the noise around you that creates danger. It is the noise within. And the moment you still that inner storm, divine law takes command. Say softly, my calm is my protection. My faith is my shield. My peace surrounds me like light. Fear rushes. Faith rests. Fear shouts. Faith whispers. Fear reacts. Faith remembers. In stillness, you remember that everything real is eternal and everything frightening is temporary. The universe moves in rhythm with your inner world. When you hurry, it mirrors haste. When you rest in trust, it mirrors grace. The secret of protection is therefore not resistance. It is relaxation in divine order. Say gently, I relax into divine order. I trust that every step I take is guided. Every path I walk is safe. Every outcome is already blessed. You are not protected because you fight. You are protected because you know. You are not safe because you hide. You are safe because you remember who walks beside you. The divine presence that created the stars holds your every breath. Close your eyes for a moment and feel it. There is no gap between you and God. There is no distance between your need and its supply. The same power that turns night into dawn is working quietly in your favor. Faith is not pretending. Faith is perceiving what the senses cannot yet see. It is the calm awareness that says, even this is under grace. And when you live that way, protection becomes natural, effortless, constant. Say aloud, I walk by faith, not by fear. I walk in peace, not in pressure. I walk in divine confidence, for infinite intelligence governs my steps. When fear comes knocking, do not answer the door with panic. Answer with praise. Say, peace be still, and the vibration changes instantly. The energy of peace is recognized by the universe as divine authority. You have seen the ocean after a storm. Once the surface calms, the depth returns to silence. So it is with you. When your surface mind quiets, your spiritual depth governs again. Each breath is a key to stillness. Breathe in faith, breathe out tension. Breathe in peace, breathe out worry. With every breath, your aura becomes clearer, your protection stronger. Say softly, I breathe in divine love. I breathe out all fear. I breathe in calm assurance. I breathe out every doubt. Faith is the atmosphere of miracles. Stillness is the doorway through which they enter. In quietness, divine ideas reach you easily. Guidance that keeps you safe. Timing that prevents mistakes. Intuition that whispers, "Go now," or "Wait here." Trust those inner signals. They are the language of protection. When you are agitated, you cannot hear them. When you are still, you hear everything. Remember, the universe does not protect through force. It protects through flow. When you push, you step out of rhythm. When you trust, you are carried. Say gently, "I am carried by divine flow." I do not push against life. Life supports me perfectly. The ego says, "I must control." Spirit says, "I am guided." The ego fears outcomes. Spirit knows all outcomes are divine. Your work is not to defend yourself. It is to maintain your vibration. A peaceful mind is a fortress. A grateful heart is its gate. Keep gratitude open and fear has no entrance. Say with faith, "Gratitude surrounds me like a wall of light. Peace fills me like a river. Nothing unloving can cross my field." Even when storms appear, stay still inside. The outer may shake, but the inner stays anchored. Say, "This too shall pass," for divine order never fails. And it will pass, always. Do not let headlines or opinions dictate your peace. You are not of the world's vibration. You are of divine frequency. You are tuned to a station called love, and love cannot be harmed. Repeat slowly, "I dwell in divine love. I rest in divine peace. I live under divine protection, now and always." Every morning, center yourself in stillness before touching the noise of the world. And every night, return to it before sleep. It will become your atmosphere, your unseen sanctuary. For the soul anchored in faith cannot fall. The heart anchored in stillness cannot be shaken. The mind anchored in divine love cannot be touched by fear. You are safe, not because you hope to be, but because you already are. Safety is your natural state. Faith simply reveals it. Say one final time, "I am calm, I am confident, I am protected. Divine peace surrounds me, divine power sustains me, divine love guards me. All is well, and all will always be well." And so it is, and so it continues, quietly, powerfully, perfectly, under grace and in divine protection. Beloved soul, you live among many energies. Each day, you meet souls carrying their own weather. Some radiant with joy, others clouded with fear. You cannot control the storms that others carry, but you can choose whether they rain upon your spirit. The wise do not harden, they harmonize. They stay open in love but covered in light. Say softly, "I am kind, yet guarded in divine wisdom. I am open, yet protected by love. No outside energy can disturb my peace." You do not protect yourself by closing your heart. You protect yourself by expanding your light so fully that nothing unloving can enter. When your vibration is strong, low energy cannot match it. It simply falls away. This is the gentle power of spiritual immunity. You do not fight darkness, you outshine it. In every environment, remember you are the thermostat, not the thermometer. You set the atmosphere, you do not absorb it. When you walk into a room, let your peace lead. Let your light speak before your words do. Say gently, "My energy is sovereign. My light fills every space I enter. I am the peace that changes atmospheres." Sometimes you may feel tired or heavy after being around others. Do not judge yourself. Simply cleanse with love. Whisper, "I release what is not mine. I bless every soul and return to peace." Instantly the energy lifts, for love does not cling, it clears. You are not here to fix anyone's vibration. You are here to maintain your own. When you stay centered, you become a silent teacher of balance. Those around you begin to calm, not because you speak loudly, but because your presence reminds them of peace. Say softly, "I carry peace within me, and peace radiates around me. I am a blessing wherever I go, and I am always protected by divine love." There will always be voices that complain, energies that gossip, or spaces that feel tense. But divine law says, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. That includes words, thoughts, or emotions directed in envy or anger. None of it can find you when you are anchored in love. When someone speaks in negativity, bless them silently. Say within, divine love is at work in this soul. Peace now fills this situation, and let it go. You are not responsible for healing their fear, only for protecting your faith. Energy moves by permission. It can only enter your field if you agree with it. So never agree with fear, insult, or limitation. When someone says, you're unlucky, you silently say, I am divinely favored. When someone says, times are hard, you affirm, I live under grace, not under struggle, and thus the vibration never sticks. Say it aloud now. Nothing negative can attach to me, for I do not agree with it. I only agree with love, peace, and divine supply. If ever you must go into a place that feels heavy, perhaps a workplace, a crowd, or a situation of tension, prepare first in spirit. Visualize yourself surrounded by golden light, extending 6 feet around your body like a soft, radiant aura. Then affirm, I am clothed in divine light. Wherever I go, this light precedes me, protects me, and harmonizes all things in my path. You will feel the difference. The air changes, people become calmer, events align in your favor. That is not imagination, that is spiritual law in action. Even when negativity is directed toward you deliberately, you do not need to defend. You only need to bless. Blessing breaks the vibration instantly. Say, I bless the situation with divine love. I release it to higher law. You will feel a weight lift, because love dissolves what ego tries to hold. Beloved, remember, boundaries are not fear, they are wisdom. Even divine love uses discernment. You can be gentle yet firm, kind yet clear. When something or someone drains your peace, you are allowed to step back with grace. Say within, I choose peace over pleasing. I choose alignment over obligation. I am free to protect my energy with divine wisdom. Your time, your attention, your vibration are sacred. Spend them where peace grows, not where fear multiplies. You owe no one access to your light who only wishes to dim it. You are here to shine, not to shrink. Say softly, my peace is sacred. My energy is protected. My presence blesses the world without being drained by it. Even environments can carry residue of old emotions, offices, hospitals, cities, or homes. When you enter such places, silently bless them. Say, divine light fills this space. All fear and sadness dissolve in love. Peace reigns here now. Your presence will change the frequency. For wherever a child of God walks in awareness, that place becomes holy ground. You are the walking temple of divine energy. When your aura is clear, you are untouchable by harm. Negativity cannot survive in your field, because your light refuses to feed it. Say gently, I am surrounded by divine fire. Only love can touch me, only peace can dwell with me, only light can find me. And when the day ends, release all energy back to source. Before sleep, say, I return all borrowed energy to its divine origin. I reclaim all my power cleansed in love. I rest in peace and wake renewed in light. Nothing remains heavy when you speak such truth. For the divine law of energy says only love is real. Everything else dissolves. You are safe in all places because you are aware in all moments. Your awareness of love is your shield. Your faith is your filter. Your peace is your power. Say once more, I am untouchable in my peace. I am invisible to harm. I am radiant in love. Wherever I go, divine protection goes before me. And so it is. And so it continues, gently, powerfully, eternally, under grace and in perfect divine order. Beloved soul, divine protection does not only surround you, it speaks through you. It is not only a wall of light, it is a voice of wisdom within that guides your every step. That voice is quiet, calm, and sure. It never rushes, never fears, never condemns. It simply knows. And when you learn to listen to it, You walk through life like one guided by an unseen hand. Say softly, I am guided by divine intelligence. I hear the voice of God clearly. I am always in the right place at the right time. Every moment, infinite intelligence is speaking, through thoughts, feelings, signs, and timing. It may arrive as a gentle nudge. Turn left instead of right. It may come as a delay that saves you from harm. It may appear as a sudden peace when you think of one choice, and an unease when you think of another. That is divine intuition, your inner compass of protection. You were never meant to guess your way through life. The same power that created worlds walks with you, whispering your next step. You need only be still enough to listen. Say gently, I am receptive to divine direction. I do not rush, I allow divine wisdom to lead me. When fear shouts, intuition is drowned. When faith listens, intuition speaks. That is why peace is the atmosphere where guidance can be heard. You cannot hear the music of the divine if your mind is filled with noise. So silence is not emptiness, it is alignment. Many call it instinct. Florence called it divine leadings. You feel it as a pull, a knowing, a quiet yes or no. And when you honor it, protection unfolds like a golden path before your feet. Say softly, I trust my divine guidance. My intuition is the voice of God within me. I hear clearly, I move wisely, I walk safely. When you ignore that still voice, confusion increases. But when you obey it, miracles follow. Sometimes divine protection delays you to protect you. Sometimes it reroutes you to bless you. Sometimes it closes one door so that you may find the right one easily. The ego calls it frustration, the soul calls it favor. You are never late, never lost, never forgotten, only guided. Every seeming detour is divine timing at work. When you walk by faith, you never miss your turn. Say with gratitude, divine timing is my friend. Divine guidance is my constant companion. Every delay is protection. Every redirection is grace. The more you trust this guidance, the clearer it becomes. Like tuning a radio to a higher frequency, the more peace you hold, the louder the divine signal gets. Soon you will realize that nothing surprises you anymore. You sense everything before it happens. You will walk through your days with quiet assurance, saying, I feel it, I know it, I am led. And that is divine protection in its highest form. Intuitive awareness guided by love. There is a prayer Florence once spoke. Infinite Spirit, open the way for my immediate supply. Let every plan of evil be reversed in my favor. Let every obstacle become a stepping stone. I am divinely protected, divinely guided, divinely prospered. This prayer works because it acknowledges that nothing happens to you. It happens for you. Say softly, I am divinely guided to safety, success, and peace. I cannot miss what is mine. I cannot lose what is meant for me. When confusion tries to enter, pause and ask, does this feel peaceful? If peace speaks, move. If it does not, wait. Peace is your compass. God never guides through fear. Fear says, hurry. Faith says, rest. It's handled. Your spiritual protection is intelligent. It does not always remove challenge. Sometimes it redirects energy so you grow wiser, stronger, and safer next time. Nothing is random in divine order. Everything is perfectly placed. Say now, everything in my life is divinely arranged. I am at peace with divine timing. I trust my intuition completely. Even in uncertain situations, your inner voice never fails you. If you ever feel uneasy, do not dismiss it. That is your soul's alarm bell ringing softly. You may not know why at the time, but divine protection always explains itself later. You will look back and say, something told me not to go there. That something was someone. Infinite intelligence watching over you. You can also invite guidance through simple affirmation each morning. Infinite Spirit, open my mind to receive divine instruction. Guide my every thought, word, and action. Let me move only when you move. When you begin your day like this, every choice becomes protected by wisdom. You will find yourself calling at the right time, meeting the right person, taking the right turn, saying the right words, and all of it feels effortless. That is divine protection operating through divine guidance. Say with peace, I am divinely directed. I am never alone. I am guided by perfect intelligence that knows the way and keeps me safe. Even in times of confusion, say, Infinite Spirit, make the way clear. Then stop thinking and listen. The answer will come quietly. A word, a thought, a feeling, a sign. It will come when you are calm, never when you are frantic. The universe does not shout, it whispers. Beloved, divine guidance is not rare. It is constant. You do not need to chase it, you need only clear the noise that blocks it. That noise is fear, doubt, worry. The clearing is faith, silence, gratitude. Say softly, I am quiet, therefore I can hear. I am faithful, therefore I am led. I am peaceful, therefore I am protected. And when you follow that inner voice, everything aligns, timing, people, places, and outcomes. Life becomes smoother because you are no longer steering alone. You are co-driving with the infinite. And divine intelligence never makes a wrong turn. Repeat this daily truth: I am guided, guarded, and governed by divine love. Every step I take is directed. Every move I make is protected. I walk in wisdom and I arrive in peace. You are not guessing your path anymore. You are gliding through divine order. And that is the safest place you will ever be. Say one last time, I am one with divine intelligence. I hear clearly, I act wisely, I move safely. My intuition is my protection and my peace is my proof. And so it is. And so it continues, quietly, perfectly, and forever under grace and divine guidance. Beloved soul, protection is not an event. It is a way of being. It is not a moment of prayer. It is a vibration you carry as you walk through life. You are not protected because you say one affirmation. You are protected because you live in the consciousness of divine love every day. Every morning you awaken, divine light greets you. It says, here I am again, pure, ready, strong. Let's begin. And your first thought becomes your shield for the day. If you begin with gratitude, you open the gates of grace. If you begin with fear, you open the door to confusion. So choose gratitude first. Say softly, I begin this day in divine love. I am guided, protected, and blessed in all that I do. Love is the truest form of protection, because love dissolves everything that is not like itself. When you walk in love, no anger can reach you, no hate can harm you, no jealousy can stay near you. Love neutralizes every lesser vibration. It transforms attack into understanding, envy into admiration, fear into peace. Say gently, I walk in love, and love walks in me. I am surrounded by love, therefore I am surrounded by safety. Each day you move through the world as a carrier of energy. You are not here to absorb, you are here to radiate. Your light does not depend on the weather of the world. It shines because it is divine. The more love you radiate, the more protection surrounds you. The more gratitude you express, the more abundance follows you. The more peace you hold, the more heaven lives within you. Say quietly, I radiate peace. I radiate gratitude. I radiate divine light wherever I go. The great secret is this: protection is not defense. It is divine presence. You do not have to hide from darkness. You simply remember who you are. You are the light of God in human form. When you walk in awareness of that truth, fear cannot recognize you. You are invisible to harm because your energy is transparent to love. Say softly, only love can find me. Only peace can reach me. Only blessings can touch my life. When you wake, see yourself covered in white gold light, pure, bright, gentle, and alive. Let it extend through your home, your work, your family, your future. This is not imagination. This is creation. Every thought of love is a brushstroke on the canvas of divine protection. Before you step into your day, say, divine light goes before me. Divine love surrounds me. Divine power sustains me. Divine wisdom guides me. Then go forward knowing you are covered, supplied, and secure. Throughout the day, when tension rises or fear tries to whisper, stop for a moment. Take a breath and return to the truth. You can say quietly, "Peace, be still." And at once, the vibration shifts. Because peace obeys those who speak it. Say softly, "Peace goes before me. Peace surrounds me. Peace follows me. I am the vibration of divine calm." As evening comes, give thanks for every moment of protection that unfolded silently, the accidents avoided, the calm you kept, the gentle timing that worked in your favor. Nothing was coincidence. It was divine order in motion. Say with gratitude, "Thank you, Infinite Spirit, for guiding me today. Thank you for unseen help and constant grace. Thank you that I am always safe, always loved, always free." When you sleep, rest in that awareness. Your body sleeps, but your spirit stays awake in divine harmony. Even in dreams, love watches over you. You are never unguarded. You are never unprotected. You are wrapped in light from which you were created. And when a new day dawns, you rise again within that same light, renewed, restored, and ready to shine. For divine protection never takes a day off. It is not something you earn, it is something you remember. Say gently, "I live in remembrance of who I am, a soul of light, a vessel of love, a being of infinite peace." When others worry, you remain calm. When others argue, you remain silent in strength. When others fear, you respond with faith. For you are not reacting to the world anymore. You are radiating heaven. You are now the calm in the chaos, the blessing in the crowd, the light in the room, and that light itself protects you. Because love always returns to its source, and you are that source made visible. Say softly, "I am light, I am love, I am divine protection in motion. Nothing can disturb the peace of my soul." Now imagine your life covered in waves of golden light extending in every direction. Past, present, and future. Like sunlight through water. That is the power of divine consciousness surrounding you at all times. You are safe in it, you are supported by it, and you are sustained through it. Every prayer you've spoken, every affirmation you've repeated, has built an unbreakable wall of peace around your life. And this peace goes with you wherever you go. Not just for today, but forever. Say one final time, "I live in light, I walk in love, I move in peace. I am forever protected, forever guided, forever blessed. Under grace and in perfect divine order, it is done." And so it is, and so it continues. Not as words, but as the very vibration of your being. You are the light, and the light is always safe.
Life is a grand and generous menu, and the universe is the perfect waiter. What you ask for, it hears. What you expect, it delivers. The tragedy is not that people are denied their desires, but that they forget how to order. They speak their requests with hesitation, as though wealth is an indulgence they are not worthy of, as though abundance is reserved for someone else. Yet the law of life is clear. You are served what you declare with faith. Think of the last time you ordered a pizza. You didn't whisper, hoping the restaurant might have pity on you. You didn't beg for toppings. You didn't say, "I don't deserve cheese, maybe just a crust, if that's okay." No. You opened the menu, decided what you wanted, and placed the order with confidence. Then you relaxed, knowing it was on the way. You didn't sit by the phone worrying if the delivery driver would find your house. You didn't doubt whether the restaurant could fulfill your request. You trusted the process. Wealth works the same way. The invisible substance of life waits for your clear word. It is as abundant as flour in the bakery, as endless as the dough stretched in the kitchen. Prosperity is not scarce, it is prepared and ready to flow. But it will not come until you call it forth. The moment you declare, "I order wealth, health, joy, and ease," the universe begins assembling your request. The oven is warming, the crust is rising, and the toppings are being arranged exactly as you asked. Too many souls confuse the kitchen with the table. They believe they must labor, sweat, and strive for every crumb. They believe their wealth depends on conditions, on markets, on the permission of others. But the law is simpler than that. The kitchen of spirit is already stocked with infinite supply. All you need is a spoken word of faith, a confident declaration, and a calm expectation that it is yours. When doubt enters, it is as though you keep calling the restaurant to change the order. Maybe I don't want wealth. Maybe I only deserve just enough. Perhaps I'll cancel the whole thing. And so the kitchen never sends it out. Or it arrives delayed and half-baked. But when you hold firm to your word, when you say, I want this, and it is mine, the doorbell rings. And abundance arrives hot, fresh, and perfect. There is no shortage of pizza in the world, and there is no shortage of wealth in the universe. To believe otherwise is to live hungry at a feast. Every person has a seat at the table, every soul is entitled to fullness. But entitlement alone is not enough. You must place your order. You must speak with assurance. You must receive without fear. Life responds not to confusion but to clarity. It is not the timid request that stirs the unseen power, but the calm, expectant word spoken with conviction. To order wealth is no different than ordering a meal, for both are governed by the same law. You decide what you want, you express it with certainty, and then you allow it to be delivered. The invisible storehouse of supply does not ration its blessings, nor does it hide them behind locks and gates. It waits patiently, like a stocked kitchen, brimming with every ingredient you could ever imagine, ready to create the exact form of abundance you choose. But too often, people hesitate, second-guess, or disqualify themselves before they even speak their desire. They sit before the menu of life and whisper, I don't deserve that, or, it's too much. And in doing so, they send back the possibility before it even reaches the oven. When you order a pizza, you do not beg the restaurant to prepare it. You do not plead for extra cheese, as though you were asking for a miracle. You look at the menu, you decide with confidence, and you state your order. Then you rest in certainty, knowing it will come. You do not pace by the door questioning whether the delivery driver will find you. You do not worry if the kitchen has run out of dough. You trust the process because you know the system works. This is the same trust you must extend to the invisible law of supply. The universe is the kitchen, spirit is the chef, and wealth is always on the menu. Your role is not to wonder how it will be prepared, nor when it will arrive, but to order with faith and then wait in joyful expectation. Wealth is not a distant luxury. It is as natural as bread rising in an oven. Prosperity is the birthright of every soul, not the privilege of a chosen few. The infinite is not limited in its resources. Just as the sun shines without exhaustion and rivers flow without measure, so does the current of abundance flow ceaselessly, waiting to be drawn into form by the one who claims it. Yet so many live as beggars at a banquet. They imagine the table is set only for others. They convince themselves that scarcity is noble or that wanting more is selfish. In truth, to deny wealth is to deny the very principle of life, for life itself expands and expresses through the channel of abundance. To live in lack is to misorder, to refuse to speak clearly, to act as though the kitchen of spirit has run out of food. When you place an order with hesitation, you invite delay. Imagine calling the restaurant and changing your mind again and again. First, you want pepperoni, then perhaps only cheese, then you decide you should not eat pizza at all. The kitchen cannot fulfill such a wavering request. It is the same with wealth. The law of life responds to a firm command, not to a doubtful, shifting mind. When you declare, I order wealth now, I order success now, I order joy now, and when you declare it without apology, the unseen begins to move. Circumstances rearrange. Opportunities appear, doors open. But when you undo your words with fear, perhaps I don't deserve it, maybe it won't come. Maybe I asked for too much. You delay the delivery, or you send it back altogether. The imagination is the menu. It shows you what is possible. Every image of wealth that passes through your mind is a suggestion of what may be yours if you choose it. Yet many treat their imagination as fantasy rather than guidance. They say, it is only a dream, it is not real, and so they never place the order. But the truth is that imagination is spirit's way of showing you what the kitchen can prepare. If you can see it in your mind, it means the ingredients already exist. It means the order can be filled. All that is required is your word. To say, "This is what I choose, and this is what I claim," is enough to set the process in motion. Faith is not merely belief, it is certainty. It is knowing that the order is complete the moment you speak it. You do not see the pizza instantly after placing the call, yet you never doubt its arrival. In the same way, you may not see wealth the moment you declare it, but it is already on its way. The crust is being prepared, the sauce is being spread, the toppings are being placed. Invisible hands are arranging the channels through which your prosperity will come. It may travel through business, through ideas, through opportunities, or through unexpected gifts. The form is not yours to dictate. Your task is only to decide what you want and to trust that it is being assembled. Many people sabotage themselves because they stare at the clock, waiting, worrying, doubting. They say, "It has not arrived yet. Perhaps it will never come." And so they cancel their own order with disbelief. If only they would rest as calmly as they do when waiting for dinner, their prosperity would arrive with speed. For the law is exact and it never fails. What you order with faith will be delivered. What you cancel with fear will never reach your table. You must remember that wealth is not limited by appearances. A restaurant may seem small, yet behind it is a vast supply of ingredients. The universe may appear restricted by conditions, yet behind all appearances lies infinite substance. If you say, "The economy is bad, therefore I cannot prosper," you have placed your faith in appearances rather than in the law. But if you say, "I order wealth regardless of appearances, I order abundance regardless of conditions," then you call forth the unseen supply, and it comes to you in unexpected ways. There is no shortage in spirit. There is no lack in the invisible storehouse. Shortage exists only in the minds of those who forget how to order. Wealth is prepared, ready, waiting, like a row of ovens baking countless pizzas at once. Every soul may call for their portion, and every order will be filled. But only the one who asks with assurance, who speaks with confidence, who expects without doubt, will receive in full. Others will sit in hunger, not because the kitchen refused them, but because they never placed their order with faith. The unseen law of life is precision itself, exact as mathematics, unfailing as gravity. Whatever you send forth in word, thought, and feeling becomes the command that the universe obeys. Many imagine wealth as something far away, as though it must be chased, earned with exhaustion, or bargained for through sacrifice. Yet wealth is not a prize given by chance or luck, it is a natural state, summoned by clarity of desire and certainty of expectation. The river of supply is always flowing, and it flows where it is directed. When you turn the channel with your words, the stream obeys. If you say, "I order poverty, limitation, lack," through fear and complaint, that is the dish that will be set before you. If you say, "I order wealth, I order freedom, I order ease," with unwavering assurance, then prosperity moves to meet you with the same certainty as a meal delivered once it has been ordered. Consider how a restaurant never questions your right to order. The waiter does not ask if you are worthy of a meal. The chef does not withhold ingredients to punish you. The kitchen does not argue that someone else deserves it more. You are served because you placed your order. The universe works with the same impartiality. It does not measure your worthiness, for your worth is inherent. It does not ration supply, for supply is infinite. It does not refuse requests, but it does mirror your faith. When you order with doubt, you create delay. When you order with certainty, you create speed. Life delivers not according to what you plead for, but according to what you expect. The spoken word is the seal on your request. To say, "I am wealthy now," is to place your order with the invisible. Yet many cancel their order the very next moment by saying, "But how will it come? Perhaps I was wrong to ask. Perhaps I cannot afford it." This is no different than calling the restaurant, placing your order, and then phoning again to say, "Cancel it. I don't believe you can deliver. No kitchen can serve a meal that is endlessly sent back. No universe can deliver abundance to one who speaks yes and no in the same breath. Imagination is the sacred menu of spirit. Every vision of prosperity that arises within you is a glimpse of what already exists in potential, waiting for you to call it forth. If you can see yourself living in ease, if you can picture wealth surrounding you, that is spirit whispering, "This is available. Choose it." But imagination alone is not enough. You must claim it aloud, with certainty, without apology. The law of supply answers not to half-hearted wishes but to the strong, decisive word. To hesitate is to leave the order unspoken, and the kitchen of the universe prepares nothing for the one who never asks. Faith is not blind hope, it is knowledge of unseen fulfillment. When you place an order for food, you do not need to see the oven to trust that the meal is being prepared. You do not stand in the kitchen to verify each step. You trust the process, and that trust allows you to rest. So it must be with wealth. Once the word is spoken, the preparation has begun. The channels are moving, the conditions are aligning, the opportunities are being drawn to you. Your wealth is assembling behind the scenes the very moment you declare it. To doubt is to interrupt, to trust is to receive. Some say, "But I have asked, and nothing has come." Yet when examined, it is found that they have asked with words of faith, but cancelled with words of fear. They said, "I order wealth," but followed it with, "I cannot afford anything, I am always struggling. Money is hard to come by." And so their wealth was sent back with every denial. The law cannot be fooled. It gives you exactly what you continuously declare, not what you declare once, and then contradict 100 times. If you continually affirm lack, then lack is what the waiter delivers. But if you continually affirm wealth, holding fast without wavering, then wealth must arrive, for the law is unchangeable and exact. Wealth is not earned by toil, it is called by word. To work without aligning your word is to labor endlessly with crumbs for reward. To speak clearly and work in harmony with your word is to draw streams of abundance with little strain. The invisible law magnifies your efforts when your words and beliefs are in agreement with prosperity. It multiplies results, brings unexpected channels, and opens paths you could not have created alone. Just as a pizza may be delivered swiftly to your door, wealth may arrive through means beyond your imagination. The law finds the fastest route once you have spoken the order with certainty. The world is filled with those who envy the prosperous, imagining them to be lucky, favored, or undeserving. Yet in truth, they are often those who have learned, whether consciously or not, to order without apology. They speak their desire with confidence. They expect fulfillment without doubt, and life mirrors their conviction. The same power is available to all, but few dare to use it. They fear being bold, they fear asking too much, they fear appearing greedy. But the universe does not judge desire, it simply fills the order placed. To ask for wealth is no more selfish than to ask for bread, for both are necessary for life. The law is impersonal, and the menu is endless. You cannot exhaust it by asking, nor deprive another by receiving. When you believe supply is scarce, you create scarcity for yourself. When you believe supply is infinite, you open the channel of infinite flow. The belief you hold is the signal you send, and the signal determines the response. To say, "I cannot prosper in this economy," is to order lack from the kitchen of spirit. To say, "I prosper regardless of appearances, wealth comes to me from every direction," is to order abundance from the same source. Appearances may say one thing, but appearances are shadows, not substance. The unseen substance of life is infinite, and it answers to your word, not to the news, not to statistics, not to circumstances. Every time you speak of limitation, you extend your hand to receive it. Every time you affirm prosperity, you extend your hand to receive that. The waiter brings what you name. The kitchen prepares what you request. Spirit does not choose for you, you choose, and Spirit fulfills. If you are dissatisfied with what is on your table, it is not because the supply is poor but because the order has been mistaken. The remedy is not to scold the waiter nor complain of the kitchen, but to place a new order with clarity and faith. The law of abundance is effortless in its operation, yet people make it heavy with their doubts, their fears, and their endless reasoning. The truth is simple: what you see in your mind, what you speak with your lips, what you hold in your heart with conviction, becomes the pattern the universe obeys. There is no confusion in spirit, no delay except that which is created by the wavering of human thought. Life is ready to serve swiftly, just as a restaurant is ready to prepare any item from its menu as soon as the order is given. But imagine how strange it would be to enter a restaurant, sit down with the menu before you, and yet refuse to order because you are afraid the chef might laugh at you, or the kitchen might be too small to prepare your request. Still, this is how most souls approach the abundance of life. They see visions of wealth, success, joy, and expansion, yet they shut the menu, saying, "It cannot be for me. Perhaps only crumbs are permitted." They sit hungry at a table overflowing with possibility. To order wealth is to exercise the same calm authority with which you would order your evening meal. There is no hesitation, no sense of unworthiness, no apology in your tone. You simply decide, declare, and allow. The universe does not need to be begged, it needs only to be instructed. You are not asking a reluctant giver, you are directing an infinite law. When you say, "I order wealth now," you have already set invisible forces in motion. Supply begins to arrange itself, opportunities move into position. Doors begin to open where before there were only walls. The law does not resist you, it aligns to you. Your word is the trigger, your faith is the magnet. Your imagination is the blueprint. Think of how naturally you trust when you place a simple order for food. You do not follow the waiter into the kitchen to check whether the cook understands your request. You do not wring your hands wondering whether the oven will work this time. You order, you sit, you speak with your friends, you occupy yourself with joy, and soon enough your meal arrives. What if you could meet the question of wealth in the same way? What if you could speak your word and then rest, knowing that just as surely as the food is on its way, so too is your abundance? The more relaxed your faith, the quicker the delivery. Anxiety does not speed the process, it interrupts it. Doubt does not add toppings to your order, it cancels it altogether. The spoken word is not a casual thing. Every statement of lack is an order for more lack. Every complaint about shortage is a command for more shortage. The law hears only what is spoken with conviction, whether positive or negative. To say, "I never have enough money, nothing ever works for me, wealth always escapes me," is to summon a meal of struggle again and again. The waiter does not question whether you meant it, he simply delivers. The universe does not argue with your declaration, it fulfills it with precision. If you do not like what you are served, change the order. Place a new request. Cancel the old habits of speech and thought that have kept you fed with crumbs, and instead say with authority, "I order wealth, I order plenty, I order ease, and I expect it to arrive." Imagination shows you what is possible, but your spoken word brings it into form. Many admire the pictures in their mind yet never claim them. They daydream of abundance, but their words contradict the dream. They speak of bills, of struggle, of limits, and so the kitchen of spirit receives two orders at once, one for prosperity and one for lack, and the result is confusion and delay. Just as you cannot ask for a pizza and then insist on receiving a salad, you cannot declare prosperity and then insist on limitation. The law obeys the clearest order, and most often the clearest order is the one repeated with the strongest emotion. This is why many live and struggle. They dream of wealth in silence, but cry aloud of lack every day. The stronger order is the one the universe must serve. Faith is the great confirmer. Faith says, "What I have spoken is already mine." Faith is not waiting to see before believing. It is resting in knowing that unseen forces are already preparing the way. Just as you trust the cook to prepare the meal, so you must trust the invisible to prepare your wealth. You do not stand impatiently in the kitchen doorway. You take your seat and ready yourself to receive. The one who trusts most fully receives most swiftly. because the law flows without obstruction through calm expectation. Worry, fear, and doubt are obstructions in the channel. Remove them, and abundance flows as naturally as water downhill. You must also learn to resist the temptation to explain or justify your order. If you ask for wealth and others say, "You are unrealistic, you do not deserve that," you should be satisfied with less. Do not let their voices cancel your declaration. No diner explains to the waiter why they deserve their meal. They simply place the order. In the same way, you need no justification before the universe. You are not required to prove your worthiness. Your worthiness is already established by the fact that you exist. The very breath of life within you is proof that you are meant to live fully, and fullness includes abundance. If you were meant for lack, you would not be given imagination. Imagination is the evidence of your right to choose more. There is a danger in overthinking the process. Some imagine they must know the exact path through which wealth will come. They say, "If I cannot see how, I cannot believe." But no diner insists on knowing each step of the recipe before placing an order. You do not need to know how the flour was milled, how the oven was heated, how the dough will rise. You trust that the chef knows, and you expect the result. The same law applies to wealth. You need not dictate the path, you need only state the result. The how is handled by Spirit, the unseen arranger of all things. To insist on knowing the path is to step into the kitchen and interfere with the cook. Trust is the key. The less you meddle, the smoother the delivery. Some believe they must earn the right to abundance through suffering or sacrifice. They cling to the belief that only through endless labor will prosperity arrive. Yet the law does not require suffering, it requires clarity. The waiter does not ask you to wash dishes before bringing your meal. The kitchen does not demand you prove yourself worthy of food. You are served because you asked. Wealth comes the same way. The belief in struggle is a false law created by human thought, not a decree of Spirit. Break that false belief by speaking a new word. I receive with ease, I prosper without struggle. Wealth is mine by divine right. The moment you declare it, the false law begins to dissolve, and the true law takes its place. Every spoken word is a seed. Some plant seeds of prosperity, others plant seeds of poverty, but the soil of the universe does not discriminate. It grows whatever is planted. If you scatter weeds with your speech, you cannot complain when weeds appear in your garden. If you scatter wealth with your declarations, you will reap wealth in return. The choice of seed is always yours. The harvest is always true to the planting. Speak wealth, expect wealth, and wealth must come, for the law cannot contradict itself. The universe is a ceaseless giver, and yet the majority of people walk through life as if it were a reluctant master holding back its treasures. The truth is quite the opposite. Life is generous beyond measure, overflowing in every direction, but it requires your recognition, your spoken command, your acceptance. Just as no restaurant prepares a dish without an order, no abundance flows without a declaration. The menu of Spirit is infinite, but it is useless to the one who never opens their mouth to claim what is theirs. Imagine sitting before an endless feast, tables heavy with food, dishes shining with variety, and yet keeping silent, hoping perhaps a plate will fall into your lap by accident. This is how many live, surrounded by potential wealth yet refusing to place their order. When you say, "I order wealth," you activate the law in the simplest way. There is no complexity in Spirit, no secret code, no hidden door. The door has always been open, and the key has always been your word. You speak, and it is so. You declare, and the unseen forces of life begin to assemble your order. To hesitate is to delay, to doubt is to cancel. To contradict is to confuse the process. When you place your order for food, you do not look at the waiter and say, "Bring me a meal." But I doubt you can, and if it takes too long I will cancel, and if it costs too much I will refuse it. No, you decide clearly. You speak with confidence, and then you wait in ease, trusting that it is on the way. Wealth follows the same pattern. It is not for you to figure out the kitchen, it is for you to order and expect. The trouble is that people are trained from childhood to speak more about lack than about abundance. They repeat phrases of limitation as if they were prayers. They say, money doesn't grow on trees, life is hard, nothing comes easy. You must struggle to survive. Each of these words is an order placed in the universal kitchen. Each phrase is a seed sown in the garden of the unseen. And so the waiter brings more struggle, the soil grows more weeds of limitation, and the soul continues to wonder why its plate is always bare. The answer is not that supply is scarce, but that the orders have been mistaken. The remedy is not to complain of hunger, but to speak a new word, one of abundance, prosperity, and ease. Imagination is the great preview. Spirit whispers possibilities through the pictures you see in your mind. When you imagine yourself in wealth, in freedom, in joy, it is not fantasy but guidance. It is the menu being shown to you. The tragedy is that many see the menu and call it a dream rather than a choice. They look at the picture of abundance and say, "That is too much for me. I could never order that, it is reserved for others." And so they never claim what was already theirs. If you can imagine it, it exists in potential. And if it exists in potential, it is waiting to be spoken into form. The only requirement is your command. Faith is the strength of your order. To say, "I order wealth," with fear in your heart is like whispering your request to a noisy room. It may or may not be heard. But to say it with calm certainty, with the conviction that it is already yours, is to speak directly into the ear of the law. Faith is the vibration that seals the request. Faith is the confidence that frees you from anxiety, while the unseen prepares your order. You do not see the meal the moment you ask, but you trust that it is on its way. In the same way, you may not see wealth the moment you declare it, but already the wheels are turning, the opportunities are aligning, the channels are opening. Your declaration has been heard, and the delivery has begun. Many cancel their own orders because they do not understand this principle. They say, "I order wealth," and then the next moment they speak of poverty. They say, "I am prosperous," and then they complain of bills. They say, "I expect abundance," and then they confess fear of losing everything. The universe hears the strongest order, and the strongest order is the one repeated most often with the greatest emotion. Fear spoken with passion is more powerful than prosperity whispered without conviction. This is why lives seem to be filled with lack. Not because the law refuses, but because fear is spoken louder than faith. To change your life, you must change your speech. Every word is a command, every sentence is an order. To say, "I cannot afford it," is to order more of the same. To say, "Wealth flows to me in countless ways," is to order a new dish from the unseen kitchen. To say, "Money is scarce," is to call forth scarcity. To say, "I prosper regardless of appearances," is to summon prosperity. The waiter of the universe never questions whether you deserve your order, never debates whether it is right or wrong, never argues with your choice. It simply delivers. The question is not whether life is generous, but whether you are clear in your order. The greatest mistake is to look to appearances for confirmation. People say, "I will believe I am wealthy once I see it." But this is like saying, "I will place my order after the food arrives." It is backwards. The seeing follows the speaking, not the other way around. Faith speaks first, appearances follow after. When you declare prosperity in the face of lack, you place the true order. When you declare abundance despite the evidence of poverty, you set the law in motion. Appearances are shadows. The substance is unseen. Shadows change, substance remains. Place your trust in the unseen, and the seen will soon match it. You must also learn to rest after placing your order. The restless mind wants to interfere with the kitchen, to dictate how the order should be prepared, to worry whether the ingredients exist, to demand a timeline. But the one who trusts simply orders, and then waits with joy. They fill their time with gratitude, with expectation, with readiness to receive. They do not hover in anxiety, they do not rehearse their doubts. They do not cancel their request with fear. They rest in the knowledge that what they have spoken is already on its way. This rest is not laziness. It is power. It is the calm that keeps the channel open and allows supply to flow freely. Wealth is as natural as the rising of the sun, as simple as the falling of rain, as effortless as the blossoming of a flower. It is not a rare privilege. It is the natural state of life when you align with the law. The tree does not beg for fruit, it simply expresses what is within. The river does not plead for water, it flows because it is its nature. You are no different. Wealth is not something added to you. It is something expressed through you when you allow it. And allowance begins with the spoken word clear, confident, unwavering. The law of life is exact, and it cannot fail, yet people live as though it were uncertain, as though blessings might arrive only by luck or by chance. In truth, there is no such thing as luck. There is only law, and the law gives each according to their word. What you declare with confidence becomes the form that appears. What you continually affirm, whether of wealth or of lack, becomes the reality that sits before you. The universe is impartial. It is like a faithful waiter, serving without judgment. Never questioning whether your request is wise, never refusing because it seems too large, never withholding because it doubts your worthiness. It does not argue, it delivers. The only question is whether you are clear in your order, whether you speak with faith or with fear, whether your words call forth prosperity or limitation. Imagine once again the simple act of ordering a meal. The menu is before you, filled with endless options. You choose, you declare, and then you wait in ease. You do not ask the waiter to bring you something small because you feel unworthy of a full plate. You do not say, "Bring me whatever you think I deserve." You make your choice, and you expect to be served. The same law applies to wealth. You must choose, you must declare, and you must expect. Yet so many refuse to choose. They look at the menu of life and say, "I will take whatever comes." And then they are surprised when they receive crumbs instead of a feast. Others choose but then immediately doubt, changing their order again and again until nothing arrives. The law cannot deliver a confused order. It responds only to clarity, spoken with assurance. Every thought is a silent request, every word a formal order. When you say, "I cannot afford it," you have just placed an order for more lack. When you say, "Wealth flows to me now," you have placed an order for abundance. When you say, "Nothing ever works out," the kitchen of the universe begins preparing another dish of disappointment. When you say, "Everything is working for my good, prosperity is mine," the invisible servants of law begin assembling a banquet of blessings. Words are not empty. They are creative forces, and they shape the very conditions of your life. Imagination provides the vision, but the word seals the order. To picture wealth in your mind is the beginning, but unless you speak it into form, the image remains a possibility, never a reality. Imagination is spirit's way of showing you what exists in the warehouse of supply. If you can imagine it, then the ingredients are already present. But the chef does not begin cooking until the order is placed. In the same way, the infinite waits for your command. Dreams without declarations are like menace admired but never spoken aloud. The food is there, the supply is ready, but nothing comes to the table until the word is given. Faith is the guarantee. Faith says, "What I order is already mine." It does not ask how. It does not demand to know the path, it simply knows that the law is perfect and unfailing. Just as you do not doubt that the oven is hot. Just as you do not doubt that the cook understands how to prepare a meal, so you must not doubt the ability of the universe to fulfill your request. The form is not your concern. You do not instruct the chef on how to mix the dough, you do not insist on watching the sauce spread. You do not demand to see the toppings laid out. You trust the kitchen to do its work. In the same way, you need not dictate how your wealth will appear. It may come through business, through opportunity, through gifts, through sudden ideas, through unexpected doors. The path is not yours to control. Your task is to declare and to expect. Many delay their good by staring at appearances. They say, "I will believe in wealth once I see it." But this is like refusing to place an order until the food has already arrived. The law does not work that way. First the word, then the manifestation. First the order, then the delivery. Faith speaks in advance. Appearances follow after. To wait for evidence before declaring is to wait forever, for the evidence can only appear after the word is spoken. To declare wealth in the face of lack is the act of power. To speak prosperity when bills surround you is the true command of faith. Appearances are shadows, they have no substance except what you give them. Substance is unseen, waiting to take form through your declaration. The one who complains of hunger, yet never orders, cannot blame the restaurant. The one who speaks endlessly of poverty, yet never declares wealth, cannot blame the law. The responsibility is yours. You are the chooser. You are the declarer, you are the commander. Life does not choose for you, it reflects you. It does not decide on your behalf, it waits for your decision. If you live in lack, it is not because abundance was withheld, but because your word withheld it. If you live in plenty, it is because your word called it forth. The law does not discriminate, it obeys. The danger lies in careless speech. Many speak without thought, repeating phrases of limitation as if they were harmless. They say, "I'm always broke, money slips through my fingers, life is unfair, nothing comes easy." They believe these are casual statements, yet each one is an order sealed by emotion. The law takes them as commands and delivers accordingly. Then they wonder why their table is filled with lack. If they only realized the power of their words, they would guard their speech as a treasure. They would refuse to declare anything they do not wish to see. They would speak only of wealth, of prosperity, of plenty, of success, knowing that each word is a seed sown in the soil of the unseen. You must learn to speak as if the wealth were already here. You must declare with joy, with certainty, with gratitude. Gratitude is the seasoning that quickens the order. To say, "I thank the universe for my wealth," is to declare that it is already yours. Gratitude carries faith, and faith speeds the delivery. The one who thanks before seeing receives sooner than the one who waits to see before thanking. Gratitude is the song of certainty, the fragrance of faith. It says, "The order has been placed, the meal is already mine, I rejoice in it now." A wealth is not about struggle or strain. It is about alignment with law. The tree does not labor to produce fruit, it simply expresses its nature. The river does not force itself to flow. It simply moves because it is its essence. You do not need to wrestle wealth from the hands of the universe. You need only to declare, to align, and to receive. Your declaration opens the channel, your faith keeps it clear, your gratitude quickens the flow. The law does the rest. There is a hidden law of life, a golden thread woven through the fabric of existence, that answers to the voice of faith. When words are spoken with certainty, they go forth clothed in power, and what they declare must return fulfilled. The universe is responsive, alive, and infinitely abundant, and it waits only for the word of command from the heart that knows its authority. Money is not a stranger, nor is it difficult to attract. It is a divine idea, circulating freely, seeking its rightful channel. Those who learn to align their thoughts and words with this truth find that prosperity flows like a river, unceasing, unstoppable, and entirely natural. A psalm is more than poetry. It is a spiritual decree, a timeless affirmation of divine law. And when spoken with conviction, it opens doors that seemed forever shut. To speak a psalm for 7 days with unwavering trust is to set in motion an unseen force that breaks limitation, dissolves lack, and calls forth supply from unexpected directions. 7 is the number of completion, of cycles fulfilled, of the perfect work of spirit. To speak for 7 days is to press the truth into the subconscious, impressing the law with the certainty of prosperity, until lack becomes unthinkable and abundance the only reality. When money seems far away, the error lies not in the outer world, but in the silent inner dialogue. Doubt, fear, and complaint weave shadows that block the radiant flow. Yet a psalm, spoken faithfully, clears the atmosphere of thought and floods it with divine certainty. It is like opening windows to let in sunlight, the gloom vanishes, and everything hidden comes alive with brightness. As words of truth are repeated, the mind grows still, the heart opens, and a new expectancy takes root. Prosperity begins to feel near, inevitable, even ordinary. And soon, money responds. It flows in with ease, in ways too marvelous to predict. For divine supply is never limited to the channels the mind imagines. One need not struggle, strain, or chase. The psalm, spoken in faith, does the work. It plants the seed in the soil of spirit, and spirit multiplies the seed beyond measure. The act of speaking for 7 days is a symbol of persistence, a refusal to accept appearances of lack. It is faith in action, trust that the invisible is more real than the visible, and that money, like air, is abundant, circulating, and ready to fill every need. Those who dare to try will find that the word is power, the psalm is the key, and 7 days of faith can overturn years of limitation. For money is not a problem, it is an idea of supply, ever present and waiting to be claimed. And as the psalm is spoken, again and again, the truth becomes flesh, and prosperity flows as naturally as breath itself. Words spoken in faith command the flow of money, for every syllable carries a vibration, and every vibration creates a result in the unseen. The tongue is a creative instrument, the bridge between thought and form, and when it speaks from the wellspring of faith, it becomes a mighty force that bends circumstances, opens doors, and summons abundance. Faith is the assurance that what is declared must come to pass, and when words are uttered with that assurance, they cannot fail. It is not the word alone that holds power, but the consciousness behind the word. The unwavering certainty that backs it like a divine current. When the two are united, word and faith, prosperity responds as surely as an echo answers a call. Money is not drawn by effort alone, nor by anxiety, calculation, or strain. It responds to the vibration of belief, to the word spoken with trust that supply is infinite and ever available. Many speak words of lack unconsciously, repeating phrases of fear and limitation, and so their life mirrors those declarations. They say, "I never have enough," and the universe obediently reflects it back. But when a new decree is spoken, a psalm of abundance, held firm in faith and never cancelled by doubt, the flow of money shifts, as though a hidden gate has swung open. The universe is listening, not with ears but with law. Law does not reason, it does not question, it only executes. When you speak with faith, you impress the law with certainty. And what is impressed must be expressed. A psalm recited for 7 days is not a superstition, but a spiritual exercise in persistence. A hammer of truth striking again and again until the walls of limitation crumble. Each repetition engraves the word deeper into consciousness, until faith grows strong and unshakable, and the word goes forth like an arrow, piercing appearances of lack and commanding the arrival of money in perfect ways. Consider the nature of faith. It is not mere hope, nor wishful thinking, but the deep knowing that the invisible supply is already present. To speak words in faith is to declare what is already true in spirit, calling it forth into the visible. You do not beg or plead for money, for begging implies separation and distance. You affirm its presence. You call it by name, you speak as one who knows, and so the word carries authority. Just as a king decrees and it is done. The soul that speaks in faith decrees prosperity, and the law of abundance obeys without hesitation. When words of faith are spoken, the subconscious mind becomes the soil in which the seed is planted. The subconscious does not argue, it accepts. It receives the word, waters it with emotion, and brings it forth into experience. To say, "Money flows to me easily and in perfect ways," with faith, is to plant the seed of financial freedom. To repeat it daily, without contradicting it with fear or complaint, is to nurture the seed until it grows into a harvest. The outer world cannot resist the inner command for long, it must align. For consciousness precedes form, and speech is the tool of consciousness. Those who doubt may look only at appearances and say, "But the money is not here." Yet appearances are but shadows of past words and beliefs. To focus on them is to chain yourself to yesterday's decrees. Faith speaks of what is true beyond appearances, and words spoken in that faith rewrite the script. Soon, the outer must bend, because the inner has been renewed. The law is impartial. It gives to each according to their spoken word, backed by belief. Speak limitation with conviction, and limitation comes. Speak abundance with conviction, and abundance flows. Money is not a cold material object but a symbol of circulation, energy in motion. It seeks channels, it seeks expression, and it answers to the one who calls it with authority. Words of faith are the magnet, drawing money not through toil alone, but through synchronicity, ideas, opportunities, and channels unforeseen. Many labor heavily yet speak words of fear, and so their harvest is small. Others speak words of faith and find that opportunities arrive effortlessly. Doors swing wide and money appears from directions never imagined. This is not chance but law. The spoken word, charged with faith, creates currents in the unseen that draw substance into form. Imagine the spoken word as a key turning in a lock. The lock is not outside you, but within. The barrier of unbelief, the door of doubt. When you speak with faith, the key turns smoothly, the lock opens, and the flow of money, already present in spirit, pours forth into visibility. If you speak without faith, the key does not turn, and the door remains closed. No matter how often you knock, it is the faith behind the word that commands, the faith that says, "It is already done. It is already mine." To cultivate this, the repetition of a psalm is a sacred act. Each time you speak it, you train the mind to accept abundance as natural, to release the old language of lack, to breathe in the truth of supply. Faith grows with use, like a muscle exercised daily. At first, the words may feel like mere phrases, but as you persist, they sink deeper, they take root, and soon they feel like truth itself. And when the subconscious accepts them as truth, the outer must align, for the law cannot be broken. Thus, words spoken in faith are not idle sounds. They are commands issued to the universe, decrees that money must obey. They are the proclamation of abundance, the declaration of dominion over fear, the song of prosperity sung into existence. Speak them once with doubt, and they are weak. Speak them again and again with faith, and they gather strength until nothing can resist their fulfillment. Money is not persuaded by worry, nor by desperation, but by the word of authority, the word that knows its power, the word that flows from faith. A psalm is a decree of divine abundance, spoken from the heart of spirit into the fabric of life, a declaration that transcends ordinary speech and touches the eternal law that governs supply. It is not simply a verse to be read or a ritual to be performed. It is a proclamation of truth that overrides appearances of lack and announces the presence of infinite riches. To recite a psalm is to align the self with a vibration of power older than time, a rhythm that moves through the unseen and shapes the seen. Each word is charged with the essence of divine law, and when spoken with faith, it commands matter, circumstances, and opportunity to obey. The power of a psalm rests not in its poetry alone, but in its vibration, the resonance it awakens within the soul. When the words are spoken, they stir the subconscious, awaken dormant faith, and attune the mind to the higher law of supply. They lift thought from limitation into certainty, from fear into knowing, from complaint into gratitude. A psalm carries with it the weight of authority, for it is not a plea to a distant source, but a reminder of what is already true, that abundance is ever present, limitless, and waiting to be recognized. When you speak a psalm, you are not asking for wealth to be created, you are commanding wealth to manifest from the infinite storehouse already prepared. A decree is not a suggestion, nor is it a wish. It is a word of authority, spoken with the assurance that it cannot fail. The psalm acts as this decree, a verbal scepter in the hands of one who knows their dominion. It is the language of the king declaring sovereignty, the language of spirit affirming its birthright. To decree divine abundance is to stand firm in truth, refusing to acknowledge lack as reality, refusing to allow fear to dictate, and declaring boldly that money, supply, and opportunity are flowing now. This decree does not linger in the air as empty sound, it sets in motion the law of circulation, which always answers to the spoken word. Every psalm carries within it divine ideas, ideas of plenty, of guidance, of protection, of overflowing good. When you speak these words, they do not remain external, they take root within consciousness, and consciousness is the soil in which manifestation grows. You impress the subconscious with the truth that abundance is natural, that supply is near, that there is no scarcity in spirit. As the subconscious accepts this truth, it shapes the outer world accordingly, arranging circumstances, drawing people, opening channels, and releasing money into visible form. The psalm is the decree that stamps this law onto the inner mind, ensuring that the outer life cannot help but reflect it. The act of speaking a psalm is a sacred transaction. You give your words, and in return the law gives manifestation. You sow with your lips, and you reap with your life. The decree is the seed, the subconscious is the soil, and abundance is the inevitable harvest. Just as one who plants wheat cannot reap thorns, one who decrees abundance cannot reap lack. The harvest is determined by the seed, and the psalm ensures that only seeds of prosperity, confidence, and divine certainty are planted. To repeat the psalm is to water the seed daily, to keep it alive, to protect it from the weeds of doubt and fear. Money is one form of abundance, but the decree of a psalm reaches beyond money into all expressions of prosperity. It commands harmony in affairs, success in endeavors, opportunities that seem to appear as if by miracle. Yet money itself flows naturally when the decree is spoken. Because money is an obedient servant of consciousness, it has no will of its own, it follows the word. If the decree is one of shortage, money obeys and withdraws. If the decree is one of plenty, money obeys and flows. The psalm ensures that the decree is always aligned with plenty, never with lack. There are those who read psalms mechanically, reciting without faith, and for them the words seem empty. But when the psalm is spoken with conviction, it is alive, electric, unstoppable. The decree is not in the letters on the page, but in the spirit with which they are uttered. When spoken as truth, each phrase is a sword cutting through illusion, each sentence a key opening the vault of abundance. The psalm is both shield and weapon, guarding against fear and striking down limitation. It does not beg, it declares. It does not waver, it commands. In every age, seekers of prosperity have found refuge in the Psalms, because they carry this hidden code of decree. They align the speaker with divine certainty and turn the tide of circumstance. They shift the atmosphere of thought, and when thought shifts, matter must follow. The psalm is a decree that cannot be reversed, because once spoken in faith, it enters the law, and the law fulfills. No obstruction can stand against it, no delay can cancel it, for the decree of abundance carries with it the authority of Spirit itself. When you take a psalm upon your lips and speak it as a decree, you step into your role as co-creator with the divine. You no longer see yourself as a beggar at the gates of wealth, but as a rightful heir to infinite supply. You stand in the center of power, declaring that money, success, and prosperity must answer your call. The decree becomes a vibration that radiates outward, touching people, places, and opportunities, drawing them into alignment with your spoken word. It travels through the unseen, arranging the scene, until the visible life reflects the invisible truth you have declared. A psalm is more than comfort, more than inspiration. It is the decree of divine abundance spoken into the law of life, and the law has no choice but to obey. Each time you speak it, you reinforce your dominion, you establish your authority, and you write prosperity into the fabric of your experience. The decree echoes through consciousness, resounds through the universe, and returns as visible wealth, perfect timing, and overflowing good. It is the eternal reminder that abundance is not distant, not scarce, not withheld, but present, plentiful, and waiting for the decree that calls it forth. Money is a divine idea, not a struggle, for it was never meant to be pursued with fear, anxiety, or endless toil. It exists as a symbol of supply, a tool through which the abundance of spirit flows into visible form. To see money as a struggle is to misunderstand its nature, to mistake the shadow for the substance. Money is not the source, it is the channel. The true source is infinite, limitless, and eternal, and it flows through money as easily as through health, love, peace, or opportunity. When one realizes that money is an idea born in divine mind, it ceases to be something distant, difficult, or scarce, and becomes as natural as air, as inevitable as the rising of the sun. The struggle begins only when fear of lack takes hold, when one imagines money as separate from the divine and therefore difficult to obtain. This false belief drives people to chase, compete, and exhaust themselves in pursuit of what was already theirs by divine right. They labor under the illusion that money is hard, that it belongs only to a few, that it must be taken by force or secured through constant worry. Yet all the while, the law of supply waits for recognition, ready to pour forth the moment resistance is dissolved. Money flows not through strain but through recognition, not through desperation but through alignment with the truth that supply is ever present. A divine idea cannot be limited, and money, as such an idea, is limitless in potential. Every coin, every note, every channel of wealth is but one expression of the infinite substance of spirit. The forms may change. One era brings gold, another paper, another digital currency, but the idea remains unchanged. It is abundance made visible, circulating, moving, serving as the symbol of divine provision. To cling to the form and forget the idea is to miss the essence. Those who know the truth can never fear the disappearance of one form, for they understand that the idea itself is eternal and will always produce new forms as needed. The struggle disappears when money is seen as circulation rather than possession. It is not something to hoard or fear losing, but something to allow, to let flow, to release and receive. Just as blood must circulate to give life, money must circulate to express abundance. Hoarding from fear blocks the current, just as clenching the fist blocks the hand from receiving. But when money is viewed as a divine idea, its flow becomes effortless, for ideas cannot be exhausted. The more freely they are expressed, the more they multiply. To give with joy is to prove the law, to let the current move without resistance, and in return, the flow increases. Struggle arises only in the belief of separation, the thought that one is cut off from the source, that money depends solely on personal effort or chance. But no one can ever be separated from the divine mind, for it is the very breath within. The idea of money originates there, and to align with it is to step into effortless provision. The one who knows money as a divine idea does not fear recession, inflation, or loss, for they understand that outer conditions cannot erase what exists eternally in the unseen. Conditions shift, but ideas remain, and divine ideas always find expression. To live in this truth is to view money not as a master, but as a servant. It was never intended to enslave or dominate, but to serve as a medium of exchange, a symbol of trust, a tool for the circulation of good. When one makes money a master, the struggle begins, for the servant is placed on the throne. But when money is restored to its rightful place as a divine idea, peace returns, and the struggle ends. It flows naturally to those who use it rightly, who honor its role as an instrument of circulation, who recognize it as one of many ways abundance manifests. Money as an idea is also creative, responding to thought, imagination, and faith. Just as an architect sees a building first in thought before it rises in stone, the one aligned with abundance sees prosperity first in consciousness before it appears in form. The decree spoken in faith becomes the blueprint, and money flows as one of the materials, summoned to bring the design into reality. To struggle is to forget the blueprint and attempt to build with random scraps. To know money as a divine idea is to trust that the supply of material always matches the design of faith. Every divine idea carries within it the power of multiplication. A seed is an idea of life, and within it lies the power to become a tree, bearing countless more seeds. Money as an idea works the same. It does not diminish by being used, it multiplies through circulation. One coin spent in faith may return as 10, one act of generosity may open doors to abundance unimagined. To believe money is scarce is to block this multiplication, to see only the single seed and forget the forest it contains. To believe money is a divine idea is to trust the forest is already within the seed, and to act accordingly with confidence. Struggle also arises from comparison, the false belief that abundance is limited and must be taken from another in order to be enjoyed. Yet money as a divine idea knows no such limitation. The supply is infinite, tailored perfectly to each soul's purpose, flowing in perfect measure to each who aligns with it. There is no competition in divine law, no scarcity of ideas, no shortage of supply. The ocean does not ration its waves, the sun does not limit its light, and spirit does not restrict abundance. Money, flowing as a divine idea, is no less infinite than these. To embody this truth is to approach money with calm assurance, to see it not as a weight of struggle but as a current of freedom. It is not something to fear or chase, but something to trust, to welcome, to release, and to receive again. When money is viewed as a divine idea, the frantic grasping ceases, and the natural rhythm of circulation is restored. Prosperity then becomes a dance, not a fight, a harmony, not a burden. The divine idea sustains itself, nourishes itself, expresses itself, and those who align with it are lifted out of struggle into ease. Faith dissolves fear and clears the channel of supply. For fear is the great obstruction, the cloud that veils the ever-present abundance waiting to flow. Fear whispers of loss, of scarcity, of failure. And the mind that listens begins to build barriers against its own good. Faith is the light that scatters this shadow, the fire that melts the ice of doubt, the cleansing current that opens the way for prosperity to move freely and unhindered. Where fear contracts, faith expands. Where fear says not enough, faith declares more than enough. Where fear blocks the door, faith throws it wide open. And through that opening the riches of spirit pour without limit. Fear is born of illusion, of mistaking appearances for truth. When the bank account appears empty, fear rushes in to say that supply is gone. When opportunities seem scarce, fear insists that doors are closed. Yet these are only shadows, the residue of old beliefs, the outpicturing of thoughts long past. Faith looks beyond the shadow to the eternal substance behind it, to the invisible storehouse that cannot be exhausted. Faith does not argue with appearances, nor does it deny their existence, it simply refuses to be ruled by them. It sees with the eye of spirit, and in that vision, the supply is already present, waiting to break through into form. Every channel of abundance is clogged by fear. The one who fears loss holds tightly, clutching money as though its presence ensures safety, and in that clutching, the flow stops. The one who fears lack speaks words of worry, and those words create walls that block prosperity. The one who fears failure hesitates, delays, and refuses to act, and so opportunities pass by untouched. Fear creates stagnation, a dam in the river of supply. But faith is the command to let the river run. It is the assurance that the source is greater than any appearance, that the supply is infinite, that abundance knows no obstruction except the walls of thought. As those walls dissolve, the river flows again, and what seemed dry becomes fertile with riches. Faith is not mere optimism, nor blind hope, but the deep knowing that abundance is real, present, and responsive. It is the recognition that the universe is orderly, that divine law governs with precision, that good cannot be withheld from the one who aligns with it. Faith is the anchor in truth, the stance of certainty, the refusal to entertain any suggestion of lack. And in this certainty, the channels of supply are cleared, because the subconscious responds to conviction. When you speak words of faith, the subconscious accepts them, imprints them, and shapes the outer world accordingly. Fear cannot survive in the atmosphere of such conviction, it dissolves like mist under the rising sun. The one who cultivates faith begins to see evidence of supply everywhere. A chance encounter, a sudden idea, an unexpected gift, all are recognized as channels through which the law fulfills itself. Fear would dismiss these as coincidences, as too small to matter, but faith sees them as signs of the great river flowing. And as gratitude rises for these tokens, the flow increases, for gratitude is the hand that gathers more. Fear complains and repels, faith blesses and attracts. Thus, by shifting from fear to faith, one shifts from blockage to circulation, from contraction to expansion, from scarcity to abundance. Fear often disguises itself as caution, as logic, as realism. It says, "Be careful, there is not enough," or "Prepare for loss, it is inevitable." But these voices are only echoes of the past, patterns ingrained by repetition, beliefs that no longer serve. Faith, on the other hand, speaks with clarity and authority. There is always enough, for supply is infinite. Loss cannot touch the source. My abundance comes not from circumstances, but from divine law. To choose faith is to step out of the prison built by these false voices and into the freedom of truth. And in that freedom, the channels of supply open wide. Faith is magnetic. It draws supply as surely as iron draws to the magnet. The energy of faith radiates assurance, and the universe responds by sending evidence of abundance. Others sense it too, often without realizing why. Doors open more easily, people offer opportunities, wealth seems to find its way. Fear repels, scattering the current, sending confusion into the atmosphere. Faith gathers, harmonizes, focuses the current, and in that focus prosperity appears. To live in faith is to carry an atmosphere of abundance wherever you go, and in that atmosphere, money and supply naturally respond. When fear arises, as it often will, the remedy is to speak the word of faith. Words have power to shift vibration, to clear the inner channel. Saying aloud, I live in abundance, my supply is secure, all that I need flows to me now. Spoken with conviction, dissolves the creeping shadow of lack. Repetition reinforces the truth until fear loses its grip entirely. The act of speaking is not mere comfort, it is command. The subconscious hears. The law responds, the universe obeys. Fear cannot withstand the steady decree of faith, and so the channels are kept open, the river keeps moving. The supply continues to flow. Faith is also action. It does not sit idle, waiting for proof. It steps forward, trusting that the way will appear. Fear hesitates, waiting for certainty before moving, and in the hesitation, opportunities pass. Faith moves, and in the moving, doors appear. Resources arise, provision arrives. The act of faith is the clearing of the channel in motion, the refusal to let fear paralyze or delay. Each step taken in faith is like removing another stone from the riverbed, allowing the current to run more freely. Soon the flow becomes so strong that it cannot be stopped, and prosperity pours forth in abundance. The practice of faith is continual. It must be chosen again and again, for fear will attempt to return, whispering of danger, pointing to appearances. Yet each time faith is chosen, the habit of abundance grows stronger, and the hold of fear weakens. The mind becomes trained to expect supply, to anticipate provision, to assume abundance. And what the mind expects, the law fulfills. Faith becomes natural, the normal stance of thought, and fear fades into irrelevance. The channel, once clogged with worry and doubt, runs clear and open, and the supply flows steadily, without interruption. Prosperity flows through unexpected doors, for the channels through which abundance comes are never limited to the small paths the human mind imagines. When one thinks supply must arrive only through a salary, an investment, or a business, the mind builds walls around the infinite, confining the limitless flow of spirit to narrow corridors. Yet divine law knows no such restriction. The supply already exists in countless forms, waiting for recognition, and it moves into visibility by paths so surprising, so precise that no human planning could have devised them. Prosperity often appears where it was least expected, through doors that seemed invisible until the moment they opened, proving again that the divine is never bound by limitation, and that money flows by law, not by chance. The unexpected door is often the proof of divine order. A closed door is not the end but the preparation for one greater. What appears as a loss, a disappointment, or a delay is often the turning of attention away from the narrow path and toward a wider one. A job may end, a deal may collapse, a plan may fail, yet from that seeming emptiness a new opportunity arises, richer and more perfect than the one imagined. Faith sees beyond the surface, refusing to mourn the closing of one way, trusting that the law never subtracts without multiplying. The unexpected door opens at the precise moment needed, carrying with it the evidence that prosperity flows from the infinite, not from the limited. Prosperity has countless messengers. Sometimes it arrives as money itself, sometimes as an idea, sometimes as a person with a word, a gift, or a connection that changes everything. A thought comes in a moment of silence, a creative spark that blossoms into wealth. A conversation overheard leads to opportunity. A chance meeting becomes the channel for provision. These are not accidents but orchestrations of law, the unseen arranging the scene, aligning people and circumstances to fulfill the decree spoken in faith. The mind that insists prosperity can come only one way often overlooks these messengers, but the mind open to unexpected doors recognizes them instantly and welcomes them. The divine delights in variety. The same river may find 100 paths to the sea, bending around obstacles, splitting into tributaries, carving new courses. Prosperity works the same. If one channel is blocked, it simply flows another way, finding new doors, creating new passages, moving where there was no path before. To insist supply must arrive through one channel is to dam the river, but to release expectation and trust the law is to let the river run freely, winding as it will, always finding its way. The unexpected door is the river's proof that nothing can stop its flow. Those who cling to rigid expectations often miss the very supply they seek. They wait for money from one source, blind to the opportunities arising all around. They pray for abundance, but reject the idea that it could arrive in a new form. Faith loosens this rigidity. Faith knows that the channel is not the source, and therefore any channel can be used. Faith declares the supply secure and allows the law to choose the door. This openness makes the mind receptive, alert, ready to recognize the prosperity that may appear as an unplanned invitation, a sudden inspiration, a gift from an unlikely person, or a door that was invisible until the moment it swung wide. Often the unexpected door is perfectly timed. What appears as delay is in truth alignment. The right channel was not yet prepared, the right people were not yet in place, the right idea was not yet ripe. Then suddenly, at the appointed moment, the door opens effortlessly, and prosperity flows in such abundance that it erases the memory of waiting. The delay proves to have been part of the design, a period of preparation. Fear sees delay as denial, but faith knows delay is often divine timing. The arranging of the perfect channel, so that when the door opens, everything flows smoothly and abundantly. Prosperity may also come through transformation of perception. The unexpected door may not be a new opportunity at all, but the realization that what seemed ordinary was already a channel of wealth. A skill long taken for granted reveals itself as valuable. A relationship thought casual becomes a key to success. A resource overlooked suddenly shines with potential. Faith trains the eyes to see anew, to recognize channels hidden in plain sight. Prosperity does not always arrive as something foreign. Often it is simply the unveiling of what was already present, waiting for recognition. The law of circulation ensures that what is given returns, often through channels far different from where it was sent. A gift given in one place may return multiplied from another. Help offered to one person may be rewarded through an entirely different source. Generosity opens doors unseen, setting in motion currents that circle back in unexpected ways. Fear insists the return must come from the one who received, but faith knows the return may come from any door, at any time, in greater measure than imagined. The unexpected door is often the return of a seed sown long before, blossoming suddenly into visible prosperity. The unexpected door is also the mark of freedom, the proof that one's prosperity is not dependent on any single person, employer, or circumstance. Those who believe they are bound to one channel live in fear, worried that if it closes, supply will vanish. But when the unexpected door opens, it demonstrates that the source is infinite and cannot be confined. The job, the client, the business, the investment, these are only channels. If one closes, another opens, and the flow continues. To know this truth is to live without fear, free from dependence, confident that prosperity is secure because it flows through law, not through chance. Miracles of provision often come disguised as the ordinary, yet behind them is the extraordinary orchestration of law. A bill arrives and is paid unexpectedly. A long-forgotten debt is repaid. A door thought closed forever suddenly opens. A talent once dismissed becomes the foundation of wealth. These are the signs of the unexpected door. The evidence that prosperity is not a struggle but a flow, not a chase but a reception. The law of abundance arranges channels, far beyond the mind's capacity to predict, and faith makes the heart ready to recognize them when they appear. The spoken word multiplies beyond measure, for every declaration released into the atmosphere of spirit is a seed cast into infinite soil, where it cannot fail to grow and expand. Words are not empty sounds, they are containers of vibration, charged with the energy of belief, carrying within them the pattern of the reality they describe. When a word is spoken with faith, it goes forth with creative power, joining with the unseen law that always brings forth after its kind. A single decree of prosperity, sincerely spoken, may set in motion a chain of events that multiply into streams of wealth and opportunity far beyond the scope of the original thought. Just as a single acorn holds within it an entire forest, so does a single word of truth hold within it infinite supply. The law of the spoken word is multiplication. What is spoken once may echo in the subconscious, shaping thought and action, influencing decisions, creating connections. Speak it again, and the echo grows stronger, layering impression upon impression, until the subconscious accepts it as truth. Once accepted, it reproduces the pattern outwardly, and the results appear multiplied. The law never returns void. Every word spoken is a cause, and every cause bears fruit. The harvest may not appear instantly, but the word, once sown, is already working in the invisible, germinating, expanding, preparing to manifest. When words are charged with emotion, the multiplication accelerates. Fearful words multiply fear, drawing more experiences of lack and loss. Words of faith multiply faith, drawing evidence of abundance and provision. The subconscious does not argue. It simply accepts the strongest impressions given to it. Thus the one who constantly speaks lack multiplies lack, while the one who faithfully speaks abundance multiplies abundance. The difference is not in the external conditions, but in the seed sown through the spoken word. The soil of the subconscious is fertile for both weeds and wheat. It grows what is planted, whether deliberately or carelessly. The multiplication of the spoken word is also exponential. It does not simply add, it multiplies. One declaration may influence not only the speaker, but all who hear it, planting seeds in their consciousness as well. Words of faith spoken in a household can transform the atmosphere of the entire home, lifting thought, dissolving fear, opening channels of prosperity. Words of faith spoken in a community can ripple outward, creating movements, opportunities, and connections far beyond the speaker's reach. Every declaration sends vibrations into the invisible, and those vibrations intersect with countless others, drawing together conditions that fulfill the decree. The power of multiplication is seen in the smallest examples. A simple affirmation spoken daily can transform a life completely. A phrase like, "Money flows to me freely and abundantly," may seem small. Yet when spoken with conviction, it begins to reshape the subconscious. The subconscious then directs action, influences perception, and attracts circumstances that align with the affirmation. Soon one opportunity appears, then another, until the flow becomes undeniable. The single phrase multiplies into visible wealth, not by force but by law. This is the mystery of multiplication. The smallest seed, faithfully sown, produces a harvest far greater than itself. Multiplication also follows the principle of circulation. The word spoken is like money given. It does not diminish by being released but increases. Words of blessing return as blessings multiplied. Words of gratitude return as experiences multiplied to be grateful for. Words of generosity return as channels of generosity flowing back. The one who speaks positively about money invites more of it. The one who blesses another's prosperity multiplies their own. The law is impartial. It magnifies whatever is sown. Words of envy, criticism, or complaint return multiplied in kind, just as words of faith, joy, and abundance return multiplied in their kind. The choice of word is the choice of harvest. The spoken word also sets spiritual law into motion, and spiritual law always operates through channels of multiplication. A farmer who plants one seed does not expect one grain but hundreds, perhaps thousands. Likewise, the one who speaks a single decree should not expect a single return, but a multiplied one. The law of abundance is generous. never stingy, always overflowing. The word sound into this law cannot return in small measure, it returns pressed down, shaken together, running over. This is the guarantee of multiplication, that the spoken word once released returns in greater measure than it was given. Often the multiplication appears in ways the mind could not predict. A word of faith spoken about money may return, not as cash alone, but as opportunities, relationships, ideas, and channels that ultimately produce far more wealth than imagined. The mind may expect a certain result, but the law always exceeds expectation, returning not just what was spoken but multiplied, expanded, magnified. The unexpectedness of the return is part of the proof that the spoken word has power, for the result often arrives by means the intellect could never have devised. The atmosphere created by words also multiplies. A person who speaks abundance consistently develops an aura of prosperity. Others sense it, often unconsciously, and are drawn to them. They are offered opportunities, entrusted with responsibility, included in ventures. This atmosphere is itself the product of multiplied words, each declaration building upon the last, creating a vibration so strong that it radiates outward. The spoken word thus not only multiplies into circumstances but into presence, shaping how others perceive and respond, which in turn creates more opportunities for prosperity to flow. The principle of multiplication can be seen in reverse as well, which is why careless words are so costly. To say, "I cannot afford it," plants a seed of lack that may multiply into many experiences of shortage. To declare, "Money is hard to get," plants a seed that may multiply into endless struggle. The law does not judge, it multiplies impartially. It brings forth whatever is sound. This is why faith must guide the tongue, why the word must be watched carefully, why the decree must be aligned with truth. Every word multiplies, and the harvest will always match the seed. The multiplication of the spoken word is infinite, because it draws not only from personal consciousness, but from the infinite reservoir of divine mind. Words are not merely personal affirmations, they are alignments with universal principles. When one speaks abundance, they are not creating abundance out of nothing, they are opening themselves to the infinite abundance already present. The word multiplies because it taps into infinity, and infinity cannot be exhausted. The more it is spoken, the more it flows, the more it expands, for the source has no limit. Would you like me to weave even more imagery of seed, harvest, and scriptural echoes into this keynote to stretch it fully to a 1,000+ word density, or keep the current rhythm consistent with the earlier expansions?